second-round playoff series tonight. Going to be on the road in Toronto for Game 3. Head coach Kenny Atkinson on the mental state a team needs to have as they take on those Raptors.
It's probably similar to Game 2 where they came out. They're going to come out again. Use the word hurricane, whatever word you want to use. Like, how do you withstand that physically and mentally? And give them life early, right? Go down 10-2 or 12-2 run. It's really important right off the bat. You resist.
Cavs currently lead the Raptors 2 games to none thanks to back-to-back wins at Rocket Arena. Also, the Cavs enter the contest with a 12-game postseason winning streak against Toronto. That dates back to the 2016 Eastern Conference Finals. NBA playoff action last night, first round in the East. Detroit down to Orlando, 98-83. Cade Cunningham, double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. Pistons even up the series at 1 game apiece. Detroit also ends its 11-game home postseason losing streak, the longest in NBA playoff history. In the Western Conference last night, Oklahoma City held off Phoenix 120-107. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 37 points. Thunder now leads the series 2 games to none. Jalen Williams added 19 points, but had to leave the game in the third quarter, injury to his left hamstring. As the Browns close out voluntary veterans minicamp today, the team also getting to work tonight. NFL draft gets underway in Pittsburgh. The first round is this evening. For the moment, Browns have picked 6 and 24. For the moment, the Browns, that's where they're going to be, but there's also the chance they could trade down. For the moment, the Browns, 9 overall selections this coming weekend. Guardians yesterday lose to the Astros 2-0. Tanner Bybee gives them a 2-run homer to Yandor Alvarez in the top of the first, and that would be the only scoring in the game. Bybee would take the loss despite giving up just those 2 runs in 6 innings. Guardians managed only 5 base hits, 2 of those from Chase DeLauder. NFL Draft gets going tonight. We'll have it for you live. Coverage by the Browns Radio Network begins tonight 8 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
The afternoon drive.
I know y'all want us to win, so we need some winning energy here.
It's hard not to root for Shador when you hear the good energy. Like, it really is. It's hard not to be excited about football in April when you hear what Shador says, whether it has any bearing on the starting job or not over the next 3 months.
I mean, just think about it, like to that point right there. And I always think Deshaun just kind of just brings the mood down anywhere he goes anyway. But like, so Shador speaks. Dylan Gabriel's going to speak. We're not going to hear from Deshaun. Deshaun's not speaking. Now, maybe somebody can give me some insight as to why that is. Was that a Browns call? Was that a Deshaun call? I really don't know, but I know the time that he's been here, this has been a recurring theme after he has struggles and is gone. And it's like, all right, well, are we going to hear from him tomorrow? Is that the plan? Like, is there why on the day that all the quarterbacks are speaking are we not hearing from Deshaun Watson?
The afternoon drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
You know, Nick and Jonathan have been pretty passionate about Jordan Tyson, and if you've noticed, I'm not hammering him like I would other drafts about a guy. I think that there's really a high ceiling there with Jordan Tyson. I just get worried about the injuries. I get worried about people starting to get too worked up about the highlights. Like, there's not a lot
exactly what's going on right now.
And that sounds interesting to me, because I look at a guy like Carnell Tate, and I'm like, yeah, there's not as many highlights because he's not Jeremiah Smith. But what I see is I see solid wide receiver play that is a number 1 in this league that I can go and put out there for 8 years. And I know there's been some injuries there with Carnell Tate as well, okay? That's not lost on me. But I think I'm going to find, as Nick had said, 5 to 8 years of really great wide receiver play, and I just don't think I'm going to have to worry about him the way I might have to with other wide receivers. And plus, it's not just that. I'm taking solid, and I think I'm taking solid at 24. And that's what I want to do. I think if you reverse manufacture it, when you go offensive line first and then wide receiver second, I think in this draft, and it's not this way in every draft, but I think in this draft, you could run yourself into some serious problems there with 2 projects, and that could be a scary scenario for a team that only won 5 games.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's draft day.
It is here, Kenny. It is finally here. Whoa, boy.
I feel like Jeb Bush. Please clap. It's draft day.
Does it feel like draft day?
6 and 24, baby.
Did you do a kip up out of bed? Did you throw the covers off and go, let's ride?
Actually, Liz had a night terror again, so I had to shake her awake.
Again?
Yeah.
Do you shake her?
I do.
Was it over draft picks?
No.
Over who they're going to take?
I'm like that one reverend. I go, wake up, wake up, wake up. Because she starts having night terrors about bees or something.
You do like when they're in the... they're in the long line on the airplane in the movie Airplane, and they're taking turns batting her in the face.
No, I feel bad, and then she starts apologizing as she falls asleep, and I'm just like, it's okay, just go back to bed. But no, I didn't wake up and do a kip up and like Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania and think that we were going to draft day. No, I've been talking, guys. I've been talking about this draft. Like John's like, I think there's going to be 10 trades in the first round. I go, how do you think there's going to be 10 trades in the first round? Ain't no quarterbacks in the first round after pick 1. You can go ahead and talk yourself into Ty Simpson. I just hope it ain't the Browns. So go right on ahead if you want to. It's draft day, so you have the typical excitement of draft day, which there is a typical generic excitement to draft day. I'm not trying to dump on draft day. It's been our Super Bowl for crying out loud, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend this is the same draft as 2018 or even 2017 when you had number 1 overall picks. I'm not going to pretend it's been like drafts in the past. It's a little bit closer to 2013.
Man, think of that.
Where you don't want to end up in purgatory out of the draft with 2 picks. It ended up going that way. We didn't see it coming this way last year. Hopefully it won't end up being this way next year. So you are who you are, and that's why I'm glad Owen played it, because I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to come out with 2 solid starters here. That's what I'm trying to do here. Let's not get cute. Let's not get crazy. I told you I'd pick. I'll go Carnell Tate at number 6, and if Blake Miller's there at 24, I'll take Blake Miller at 24.
The beauty of the draft, Ken, is that the day after the draft, 32 NFL teams' fan bases will say their team is a better football team than not only they were yesterday, they'll say we're going to be better than we were last year. And that is the beauty of this draft.
Of course you do.
That's why it gets the ratings that it gets. That's why it was such a subculture that developed into,
its own cottage industry, man. There's people make a living off this thing, and that's what I love.
Well, and
that's America.
It's gone so much further after that, and that's why there's this type of excitement. Now, I will say, I go to ESPN.com, and I told you right before the show, the only story they have about this year's draft is that Mike Vrabel to seek counseling. He'll miss day 3 of the draft. That's the only story.
That's coming up at 6:20. Don't give away what I can sell.
So I can't remember a year where that would be the case on the morning of the draft. That would be the case on the homepage.
What, that a head coach is missing the draft?
That's
the only story.
Yeah.
Well, it's because pick 1's already done. The draft starts at pick 2, and there's some conversations about who would go at number 2 overall. Like, we haven't spent a whole lot of conversation about Fernando Mendoza because it's basically all been wrapped up. Like, that's the fun of having 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever quarterbacks in a first round, is that at least there's a conversation. We got to have it in 1999 between Tim Couch and Achilles Smith, and I understand how things ended up for both guys, but at least there was a debate to be had, some fun to be had. There's nothing there. And then when you get to, like, people feel very passionately about quarterbacks, and then when you get to other positions, there are some folks, but the general public, they pull back a little bit because they just don't truly know. And I see what's happened with us here over these last few weeks. Number 6, number 24, where do you go with those positions? Like, if Blake Miller isn't there, do I take Max Yanachor from Arizona State?
You've been beefing up on the pronunciations.
Keith is listening. Like, he's almost, it's like an FBI agent listening to my calls here.
We're getting clips sent to us from other
I feel like John
broadcasters that are butchering the names now.
Like, for me, Caleb Lamu, they've brought him in.
Lamu.
They like him. Left tackle, fine. Go ahead and do it. Messing them all up. This kid's name right by the time it's all said and done.
Blake
Max
Miller.
Ianicher, who I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I got a text.
Jack Reacher.
I got a text from somebody who was listening to Nathan yesterday, and they said, "Tell Keith to stop busting your ass over it because Nathan."
Those other guys are screwing it up.
And
guess what? He missed it.
It's a little bit. I'll give Nathan a pass on it because he's not an offensive or defensive line guy. He's a wide receiver guy, so it's okay for him to mess up an offensive line name. But you might have to get used to saying that name because he might end up taking it. He has a high upside.
Does it matter to you, Ken Carman, where the markets are right now at 6:09 a.m.?
Yeah, what the hell? Why not? Tell me where the markets are.
Where Vegas is, where Kalshi
Where's
is.
Polymarket?
Does it matter to you?
Polymarket's tweets are better. So.
You got him over there?
Well, I do.
Well, then.
I do right now.
My mission is simple.
Oh, wow.
To make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now.
Not only that, we also have a matrix of a bunch of mock drafts. Yeah. So any which way you look at it, it's all pointing, interestingly enough, to one player. It might not be who you think it is, judging by the markets right now.
At where for the Browns?
At number 6 overall.
Who we got?
Spencer Fano. Right now, Kalshi, there's been an 8% jump up to 24% chance.
It's not a negative side.
Carnell Tate is at 19. Mauno at 17.
Oh.
Now, according to the Matrix, Kenny, which pill are you going to take? Cleve TA said of 15 mock drafts today, all 15 had Fano. Said, to my knowledge, the Browns did not even meet with him during the process. They didn't leak anything under Barry and didn't meet with him until the market is rock solid sure that he's the pick at 6. He says it smells. And then a bunch of people are saying, well, if they didn't meet with him, is that precisely why? That they didn't want anybody else to get on the scent? That they wanted him? Why are all the markets as of this morning
what do
on
the
him?
Markets Fano?
Honestly, well done. Well done. You know that Fano is a solid player. So you could see that, but man, then you're getting to the wide receiver stuff. Now, I like what Casey Concepcion had put out there. Oh, that was a huge thing, too. That was another big thing. Sure. Yeah, because I'd been saying Concepcion, and then, no, I want him to take Concepcion. Because I'm telling you right now, if that kid, they take that kid at 24, or even if they move up a little bit and take that kid, if he scores a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns, and I hope he scores at least one and then many more after that, we are going to be ridiculous with it and how big a pronunciation it's going to be. Because I was saying it like Dave Concepcion, and then plenty of people are going, nah, Ken, it's Conception. And then I got confused by our own boss trying to correct me on it. I'm going, I've watched Texas A&M. I know what I've gotten into, and I thought it was Concepcion, and now you guys are saying Conception.
And then week 3 of the preview show, when he's on there with you, sitting on the couch.
Yes. It's going to turn into
it hashed out.
I'm just going to go, KC. And he'll go, yes. And I'll go, it's good to see you. It's good to meet you. How the hell is your last name really pronounced? And he'll say Concepcion. And that's how I'm going to say it. Don't even get me started on Jeremy Bernard. It's Jeremy, not Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Not Hermie. It's Jeremy Bernard.
I'm not going to call him that. Come on.
A wide receiver out of Alabama. There you go. The days of Bob Sanders are done, boy. You better get your pronunciations correct. There's a lot of stuff like this is tough because when you take guys, there's been like whoa drafts before, like when when Mac Jones was taken, you go whoa, geez, oh boy, and you have a lot of strong opinion. A lot of these guys, if you look through several mocks and things like that, there's just several solid picks. And honestly, that's just what I want. I want solid football players. Like Spencer Fano, I think that he might be fine, but I know that I think I could still get a good offensive tackle, offensive lineman at 24, where I don't know how much of a chance I'm going to be able to get a really good top-end wide receiver in this draft at 24. So that's why I kind of want to do it the other way around. I'm not used to doing it this way. I'm used to saying inside out, lineman. Then you go to your weapons and things of that nature. Because if the quarterback's good enough, he should make the wide receivers look a little bit better. If you got guys who are good, who know attention to detail, know how to read defenses, good route runners, which that's one and the same thing really, where you're talking about reading coverages there. Like that's part of it. But if they wanted to take Spencer Fano, fine. If they took him, I would probably be trying to talk about moving up a little bit for one of these wide receivers.
I think they'd have to. Honestly,
that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
The more and more we've talked about this over the week, I feel like there's more of a chance they trade up from 24 than trade down from 6.
So, exactly. So what am I willing to give up? Am I willing to give up 39 to move up? How far am I moving up? Because I'm not going into 2027. And Andrew Berry might look at it and go, hey, do I really need back end? Let me get my sheets here. Do I really need... Like if you're throwing in extra sweeteners here, do I need 6, 7, the one of the 2 fifths in this year's draft? Maybe not. So maybe you go, hey, we'll take a couple of less guys, we'll get some quality, we'll get a good wide receiver and move on. Now the other question is, and again, I'm just trying to read the tea leaves on 6 drafts of Andrew Berry. Does he want to put himself in a position where he has to move up in a draft that might not dictate it to him. So there's so many questions and not enough answers that's coming out of my mouth here because he's kind of been like there's people who go, oh, typical Barry. There's guys that, like an Eagles draft, you can read like a book. And it's just common sense, and then everybody just talks about how big of a genius Howie Roseman is. Like, yeah, they got a good culture. You get a good defensive culture. You get a guy who falls to you on defense. You know, maybe he had a couple of bugaboos there in college, but you bring him in and he ends up being a good football player for you because you have guys who hold serve in your locker room on defense. Like, you can do that if you're Howie Roseman. There's also like the Terry Fontenot trade where when they had taken or the Terry Fontenot pick where he's gone now in Atlanta. But I remember when they had taken Michael Penix, there were a lot of guys like smiling and shaking their heads going, oh, Terry. Like there's things there. But when it comes to Andrew, I don't know what you're going to get year to year. I don't know what you're going to get. The only thing I can say, I think is going to happen, I do think they'll probably take a quarterback Saturday. Because quarterbacks are currency. So if they have the picks, now they may move up and say, hey, we're going to be taking maybe one or two guys on Saturday. Maybe they'll take a quarterback on Saturday, and that's going to be it.
Quarterbacks are currency until you take Dylan Gabriel in the third round.
What's the exchange rate now?
By the way, one last note. Jay Glazer talked to a ton of personnel people, according to his social media. As always, social media reaction brought to you by Scheibe Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. He says, they're sure things, according to the consensus of guys Jay Glazer has talked to, that will have double-digit years in the league at a Pro Bowl level. He says there are 4. He has Mendoza, according to the people he talked to, being one of them. Jeremiah Love.
Mendoza what?
As one of these sure things.
Oh.
Okay? Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs, and Vega Lone. Does it bother you that we're not talking about any of those players at number 6 overall? These sure things, according to all the people Jay Glazer is talking to. Does that make you nervous?
Back up a little bit. Who did you just say there?
I said Mendoza, Love, Downs, and is it Vega? How do you pronounce it? Luanoni? I'm going
to let you sit on that because I'm the one that gets made fun of all the time.
I've never seen that name before in my life. Does it bother you that we have not talked about any of those players realistically at 6 overall?
How could you not, where our friend is a coach now at his alma mater? How dare you? All right. Do I tell him now? Or do you want me to make him sit on it? I'll tell him now. Venga Ioane is how you say that.
That wouldn't have been in the top 100 ways I would have pronounced that name.
He's 6'4", 320.
It's the first time you ever saw it.
Yeah.
Really good guard. Lateral movement, a little questionable. It's on the red. See, I do it color-coded.
I've never heard you mention that name.
I got terrible ears. I'm almost deaf already at the age of 40, but my eyesight, right there. Yeah, Venga Ioane. I've actually mentioned him before with you, but it's an offensive lineman, and
that's not the offensive lineman I've heard us talk the most about. You
said sure thing. You said sure thing. I mentioned him as a.
You talked about Blake Miller more than anybody. And
obviously, I've talked more about Blake Miller. But if we're just talking draft, which we have just talked draft before,
Miller.
Venga Ioane is a name that has been brought up on this show. I can guarantee you.
Not number 6.
No, not number 6.
Yeah.
No.
My Lear?
No. Milady?
Let's do the whole Key and Peele. Let's bust out the whole sketch.
Yes. You might as well. All right. What do you like? You haven't even given a name yet.
That's how much I love this draft.
I just look at it and I say, as Real Xavier P said, Tate, pretty easy to pronounce. Carnell Tate.
I think I'd take Carnell Tate.
Number 6.
I think I'd take Carnell Tate.
Carnell Tate. Nice wide receiver.
Yeah.
Just because his name isn't Jeremiah Smith, we go, come on. He's a great wide receiver. Jeremiah Smith just happens to be, quote-unquote, generational. And I just throw the quote-unquote because we say it all the time, generational. But look at the guy.
Maybe I've been
on
Vega alone now.
Vega Ioane.
I'm not going with that.
You want to get that name right?
Some of these guys change their name right when they get drafted. That's happened with a lot of players.
If they take this kid at somewhere, you better hope.
Do they not do that?
You better get it right. You owe it to him to get it right.
Didn't John come in the other day and say we found out about some players 4 years in that we've had the wrong name the entire time?
If you can rattle off Pio Sagapulitelli, you should be able to get Venga Ioane. Sorry.
Tyrod Taylor became Tyrod.
Oh, that was the whole thing. That was one of the first. You know what? Can't really say that on the. Yeah, I had to breach a peace there between you and somebody else over the pronunciation of Tyrod Taylor.
Njoku, when we drafted
turned
him,
into Jimmy Carter with him and somebody else in the media.
It was Njoku for the first month.
No, I still don't. Yeah. Well, now I don't want to put it like an earworm in anybody. There's people who go Schlesinger. It's like no, it's Schlesinger.
Yeah, they do.
Hell of a draft we got here, folks. 216-474-0092. Where do you want the Browns to go with it? I already said Tate, Blake Miller, Yannichura, I'm into. That's fine. If you wanted to go, if Blake Miller isn't there, remember the Eagles are at 23. They seem to really like the kid. Local guy, I know. Where do you want to go with it? 216-474-0092. I want to knock down one argument against Carnell Tate when we come back. Obviously, the Cavaliers are playing the Toronto Raptors game 3 tonight. Bombshell piece from Joe Varden I want to get into at 6:40, and then we will have Joe this morning at 9 o'clock. You guys will not believe at 6:40 how close this season came for the Cavaliers to flying off the hinges completely. Okay, we'll get to that coming up at 6:40. And one NFL coach will not be with his team on day 3 of the draft. Find out who in 5 on the Fan.
accidents, but they have been cleared. So for the moment, you're driving to downtown Cleveland is looking good. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
With the first pick,
The build-up to the NFL Draft is here, and we're on top of the latest news and rumors ahead of Round 1 on April 23rd. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
One quick clarification. I got confused by my own correction. It is Schlesinger for whatever reason, because I know somebody who's very close on the air who always pronounces it Schlesinger, and because it's 6:23 in the morning, at the time I said it, I messed it up.
We've had enough examples.
Schlesinger.
Schlesinger, great
Of
job.
course.
Schlesinger hit him in the backfield. He is destroyed by Carson Schlesinger. It's picked off. Carson Schlesinger.
That's Rookie of the Year. Siciliano will be, I'm sure he'll do a spot with us tonight on the Cleveland Browns official draft show.
Did you see
92.3 The Fan, your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football, and then Siciliano will be on the show in its entirety tomorrow night. Go ahead.
the first day of practice? They closed with Carson getting
Schlesinger?
on out of there and closing shop for the day. Real leadership stuff out of your second-year player.
That's what
Like
you
he
need.
locked it up.
You need the young pups leading the way. That's what he is. Young pup leading the way. There will be one.
Miles wasn't there, so it had to be somebody else.
Stop laughing. Stop laughing. You encourage the behavior. Stop it.
Well, it's just funny.
It's draft day. Come on.
It's just funny because in
Lock
the clip,
in.
Todd Monken is going on and on about how impressive it was that all of you play for each other. You play for this team. You're here. And he kept going over it. And it's like, is he sending a message?
No, shut up. Mary Kay Cabot joins us at 8:20 this morning. Ask Mary Kay the question, okay? 6:40, you have no idea apparently how close the Cavs season came to completely coming off the hinges during the year. Joe Varden had an article, and we'll have Joe Varden coming up at 9 o'clock. I want to talk about that article coming up at 6:40 this morning. 216-474-0092. There's one coach who will not be with his team day 3 coming up on Saturday. That is Mike Vrabel. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, he is seeking counseling. In a statement says, I said the other day, I promised my family, this organization, and this team that I was going to have to give them the best version of me and I could possibly give them. In order to do so, I've committed to seeking counseling starting this weekend. Said that last night. This is something that I've given a lot of thought to and is something I would advise a player to do if I was counseling them. There you go. Will not be there coming up on Saturday.
Do you think this is teetering a little bit? Like, do you think all along I've said, well, thank goodness if this was Aaron Glenn, based on lack of success, you could just move on from a guy. But I'm like, Mike Vrabel just was in the Super Bowl. He's one of the more coveted coaches.
My first thoughts, honestly, I don't know if I can share my first thoughts because I probably would end up in a meeting about it because it's a pretty sensitive culture at times. But what happens here is that it does, like, now he's seeking help. Can I say anything now? The media went because
what's he need help with?
More photos came out from the New York Post.
What else they said?
They were having breakfast together, and there was
and the other 7 friends, right?
No, it just showed them.
Oh,
so there are
more alone time.
More
between the two of
photos.
them.
Well, more photos come out, and then he says he's seeking help. When you say you seek help, when I saw the initial photos come out, there were a bunch of media members going, here we go, like getting ready to do it again. And I'm just like, to me, I believe, like, yeah, they're probably having a tryst. I can't prove it. Not saying that they were. It's my belief.
Wait a second. Have you seen a denial from Mike Vrabel?
No, I haven't seen a denial from anybody, really. But what I'm pointing out is that I can't say it. I didn't see it. I just have to be careful about it. So now I have to go, well, I believe that there was probably some things that were going on that probably shouldn't go on between two married people. That's what I believe. And now he's seeking help. So now, because he's seeking help, can the media really rip him for it all day long? I can say that you have a responsibility to your football team and your profession, and you could have sought help next week. But you know what? Now I have to go, well, he's got to do what's best for his family, and I'm not allowed to rip him as a media member because it seemed that everybody was ready to circle the wagons again with salacious details. And to be honest with you, I'm ready to move on. What happened. It's terrible. Honestly, it's terrible. I still can't believe, the PI stuff that came out about, well, my gosh, because to me, like, honestly, and we all do things differently. If it were my spouse or something like that, I don't think I want to drag my kids into it because they have families. I don't think I want to drag the rest of my family into it. I would just say, listen, I hired a private investigator. I got you here. I'll see you in court. We're done. That's probably how I would do it. And we don't need to go through all the rigmarole of public shaming and public embarrassment because I would have to think about my sons and all the other stuff to it. But when it comes to this, fine, it's all out there now. But now, because he's seeking help, now I can't sit there and, can we all make jokes about a person who's seeking help who might have problems that we don't know about? No. So this is a way to protect yourself from everything else going on. I think it's
an addiction to cheating on your wife. Is that what we're talking about?
I have no idea, and I can't speculate. Now, can I?
So
reckless speculation.
So I do wonder, are the walls going to kind of cave in here on him? Because I've even seen some people in Boston who said this was a non-story now after this.
Because he's a good football coach, and they don't want to lose a good football coach because they've seen what a bad football coach can do.
Sure. It might have been the most – Gerard Mayo might have been the most morally grounded guy in the league. He's one and done because he didn't win football games.
Exactly. Like, let's be serious. If he were the head coach of the New York Jets last year and they had that record, they looking for a head coach right now?
I seriously think they might.
Okay.
So –
this is America. We do give special dispensation to winners.
But obviously we asked right off the rip, what is this going to be like the first time that he publicly goes after one of his own players or said they didn't play well enough? Or we're just talking about the erosion of trust.
The stuff about
that happens.
Trevion Henderson's tweet, whether you agree or disagree, or the retweet or whether you agree or disagree. When you say, well, we got, like, if you have to go out and you have to say, well, we have to make better decisions or things like that, who has to make better decisions?
Right. So every time something happens with a Patriots player off the field, it's one of 32. 32 NFL teams deal with off the field stuff. Most of the stuff we never even hear about, but a lot of the stuff does get uncovered. How can the coach get up there in front of everybody and talk about decision making? And then how is that going to be met by the players? I think this is going to be really tough. They got to be really good, which they should be.
Yeah.
They should be. They have a quarterback.
If you go out there and Drake May, like I thought the stuff levied at Will Campbell was ridiculous. He was clearly playing with an injury. Okay. But if this turns into like a Super Bowl hangover, like a team that loses a Super Bowl has a bit of a hangover, if this turns into a hangover and you turn in a 9-8, 8-9, God forbid. I mean, if you don't make the playoffs, where was your head at, Coach? Day 3 of the draft. Mm-hmm. This is where you find guys who could end up being the foundations of success. Didn't Andrew Berry say that the other day in his pre-draft press conference just last week, that you find the building blocks of success later on in the draft, that the later rounds are important? So when I hear those words, you're not there day 3. It's all based on winning now. If you win, hey, this is America. We all move on. And things happen. Bad things happen. It's not like he's a terrible – if he did do this, it's not like he's a terrible person forever. You can find redemption. So can she. She can find redemption as well. That her career is absolutely over to me, I think is ridiculous. I do.
But
I think people can find redemption.
But this is the thing in that locker room.
This is what's going on right now.
He committed what every coach says is the mortal sin in that he created a distraction.
Exactly.
Unnecessarily, out of nowhere, created this massive distraction that players are going to be asked about. They'll be on podcasts. They will be tweeted at nonstop. Every time there's a Vrabel story, it's going to be the first 100 comments. How do they deal with that?
And if they go, and it's as simple as this, I'll boil it down to this, because we know how sports works in America. You go 13-4 next year, you go to the playoffs, ain't no one going to say a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at Kobe Bryant following Eagle, Colorado.
There's truth. You go 13-4,
so I'm not
ain't
saying,
no one going to say nothing.
But
if you go 8-9 and you don't make the playoffs, there's going to be serious conversations.
This is the end of the world for Mike Vrabel.
Certainly
I'm just saying this just invited so many more complications that his margin for error, he just eliminated a lot of it when it comes to that team and how well they do.
Because it's not where you have to do okay. You got to do really well. Because you were a really good football team last year. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us at 8:20 this morning. Joe Vardon, he had, would I call it a bombshell, Tone? Would you call it a bombshell piece with him and Jason yesterday?
Well, no, that it was a big piece when it came out, yes.
Let's talk about
this. This team made a big bombshell move.
When we come back, Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Joe Vardon going to join us at 9 live on The Fan.
incidents, no slowdowns. Things are looking pretty good, so people, let's keep it up. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland Traffic.
Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Confidence hasn't wavered. Our game plan hasn't wavered. We've executed and stayed on task. Even when they've gone on runs, they've scored. We've kept the main thing, and done a good job of that.
Max Strus, Cavs getting ready for Game 3 tonight. We'll get back to the draft coming up here in about 12 minutes or so. 216-474-0092. Draft is tonight. We'll have live coverage for you starting at 8 o'clock, your flagship home for the Cleveland Browns, and the NFL Draft in 2026, live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is 92.3 The Fan. You can always listen free on the free Odyssey app. It's absolutely free. We don't charge you a damn penny for it. I'm trying not to lull myself into a false sense of security. It's the Midwest values in me. I did not see, and I've been a pretty big ball watcher here over the last how many years, but I did not see Pistons Magic last night, and you said it was just a slog, to say the least, right? You said it was a slog of a basketball game.
I mean, I'm sitting there like 6 minutes into the second quarter, and they're still in the 20s.
That's.
And I'm sitting there going, man, if we could just take care of Toronto quickly, 4 or 5 games, wait for the winner of this series. We have so much more offensive weapons than these teams do. And they can't even dribble the basketball.
You know, I'm seeing the way this goes, and I don't mean to use a Western team as an example here, but I'm like, you got serious injuries with the Lakers. They're up 2-0 in that series against the Rockets. You got Kevin Durant on the Rockets, for crying out loud, and they can't figure it out. You had the Celtics who were upset. You had the Magic who upset the Pistons in Game 1, and then you got Game 2 where, again, it's they're running around in cement shoes, according to you. And it is my Midwestern values are telling me not to be lulled into a false sense of security going into tonight, because I'm looking at the Cavs, and I think that even the biggest doubters who are still Cavs fans, even the biggest doubters have to be a little bit surprised. I mean, you still led wire to wire. You can say what you want to about rebounding, everything like that, and I know it's not going to be this easy. They don't just hand out championships, and there's other teams, and I imagine the Celtics will get their act together, and I imagine the Pistons might get things figured out against Orlando. Of course, if they don't, I mean, we're going to be talking about a tough series against the Orlando Magic. But focusing on this right now, I know it's not always going to be perfect, but you had a team that got out-rebounded, did not have your bench really be able to help you back on Monday night, and you led the whole game. And I just don't want to get overconfident, because this is weird to me, because I don't want to start talking tough and then all of a sudden having to duck like I did with the Indians back in 2017. You get what I'm saying? From even the fan base. Because there's been a lot of people who went into this offseason going, this team ain't that good, you guys. This team ain't that good. You guys sit there, they're soft, they're fragile, all those things that you and I tried to fight throughout the regular season this last year. And then immediately as the postseason started, it's like, whoa, we're blowing out the Raptors and we're looking real damn good doing it. And Donovan Mitchell had 30 points on Monday, and I didn't even notice because I was so impressed by James Harden and by Evan Mobley. It's taken me to a weird place, and I know that tonight it's like, hey, you're in Toronto. It's the first playoff game I think they've hosted in 4 years.
Oh, it's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be loud.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, Dennis Schroeder was talking about it at a shoot around yesterday. How difficult of a place that can be to play. It's gonna be a loud environment.
But that's what I love about this team right now, is that they have so many answers, and they have so many guys who are battle tested, playoff tested. So when you trade for James Harden, everybody says the same thing. Oh, you're going to bet on James Harden? And I'm like, he's had a bunch of monster playoff games, right? I'm just looking through the game logs. Like, people bring up all the last game of the year stuff. To even get to the last game of the year, you have to have amazing performances to help your team, to put them on your back at times. I mean, he had 2 40-point performances against the Boston Celtics when he was on Philadelphia, and Joel Embiid was not in some of those games, and it was just James Harden carrying the team. And yes, at the end of the series against a better team, he had 2 bad performances, and so he's just a bad playoff performer. And I'm like, man, he stressed Boston to the point where that series went 7 games because he was so good. So hopefully you're not relying on James Harden to be the guy at the end of a big series, because he's not good enough. He's not good enough to do that. What he is good enough to do is to clown the whole country of Canada and to send Scotty Barnes right down to the floor.
Well, I don't want to clown the whole country of Canada. I just want to beat the Toronto Raptors.
Well,
I'm not trying to start an international incident here.
Well, he can do that. Then at the very least, he can do that. And it just goes to show just how much better he is, even at age 37, at year 17 in the NBA, how much better he is than the guys that you're going up against. Because right now, nobody in Toronto has confidence in Brandon Ingram. Thank you, Dean Wade, and the rest of the Cavalier team defense for being able to neutralize a guy who's very good. And the fact that Scotty Barnes, he got a lot of points, late in that game going at Evan Mobley. You can bet that he's going to be sure to try to do that. But over the course of the series, there's only so much Scotty Barnes can do. And right now, Harden and Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley are just way too good for this team. And I think, honestly, they're going to be way too good for Orlando, and they're going to be way too good for Detroit.
Well, you had an article that came out a while ago, and it really should have been a bombshell at the time. I'm sure we were getting into some other things there. And we'll have Joe Vardon on today at 9, but he was one of the people who penned it about how close the season was to really being on the edge of collapse. Kobe Altman being on the phone with people and knowing that there needed to be a trade that was made, or there was going to be some serious ramifications about this team actually staying together here.
Yeah,
and how much better this team has been since that trade.
This was written after the trade, but said as the Cavaliers were wrecked with injuries last month, hovering around 500, team president Kobe Altman held a staff-wide Zoom call with his entire basketball operations team in the first week of January. Among the items discussed were two realizations. The Cavs had to stop blaming injuries for their problems, and they weren't good enough as constructed to contend for a championship. Some on the call pushed further, demanding changes to save the season.
And what were the changes that we were thinking about? Well, obviously the change.
So they made the Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder moves. DeAndre Hunter was just checked out. Obviously, you guys know, I feel like DeAndre Hunter, it was the perfect prototype to help them, but that wasn't the guy. Obviously, the guy that was here, bad body language, all that, they sent him away. They got Dennis Schroeder, who's been through the wars of big games on the international stage and big games in the NBA playoffs his entire career. Keon Ellis has not had those big games. He's been mired on bad teams. But, I think as he starts to find his shot again in the postseason, you could see how he can defend a few different types of players, and they could use guys like that. But also the James Harden trade. They go and make the James Harden trade because they couldn't rely on Darius. The injuries, the being banged up. And, again, I posted that, and people thought it was this big shot at Darius. I'm like, I gave Darius credit for trying to play through that last year. I knew how hard that was for him. Having to find specialty shoes, we called them at the time clown shoes, just to try to gut it out.
Well, again,
and I thought it was unfair how people went after Darius.
Well, I agree.
But what's not unfair is to just suggest at this point, Darius is going to be dealing with this stuff his entire career.
And one's a better player. One's just a better player right now.
Harden's way better.
Now, I know it shortens up the window, and I know that James Harden really wasn't a popular figure when they traded for him because the NBA is in a weird place right now. Just a weird place. And I think that there's things...
Can we just crush all the good players?
And also...
Like Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert sucks. I just saw him go up against one of the best offensive weapons in NBA history and neutralize him in Jokic.
It's always...
but Rudy Gobert's really good.
There's very little evidence, though. It's all hearsay. So when you go after James Harden, are we sitting here talking about James Harden every morning when he's playing with the Clippers? No. So what do you know about James Harden? Well, the last time he played in the Eastern Conference. What are we talking about? Pull the ripcord on it again. Strip clubs and overweight and all that other crap.
By the way, he earned a lot of that reputation, too.
And he did. But that was now years ago that we're talking about this, and clearly he's been a difference maker for this team. So I can understand where some people were a little bit like, oh, really, we're doing this? Okay, but when you bring him in and you see what he is, it's like, well, labels are usually out of context and old, and it takes a minute to get rid of them. I'm sorry, looking at this team right now, that label's got to go. Because what I'm seeing is a much better basketball team, and you're seeing a better version of Evan Mobley, and you're seeing a better version of Jared Allen, even though Jared Allen is not playing at 100%.
No.
And I think that difference is James Harden. I'm sorry. I don't know how – if you've watched any of the games since they traded for James Harden, I don't know how anybody could say different.
I agree. Do you remember that he broke or he fractured – on his offhand, which, is still important. Like he suffered an injury that we thought he'd have to have surgery on. Have you heard a peep about that since?
No.
Isn't that kind of why they traded for somebody like him, reliable, not using certain injuries as an excuse?
Damn right.
I mean,
damn right.
I'm just saying that right now, I don't know how far they're going to go. You said they're in the midst of being able to shed the label.
Because,
they're going to have to keep winning series, right? They're going to have to win this series, take care of them. They're going to have to go on and win that next series and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then maybe other people will start to be in alignment.
I got mad at some of the things that were said towards Darius Garland because they weren't fair.
They weren't.
And I didn't think they were necessarily true. But that's where we live in. That's why you're paid the big bucks, okay? It's just simple. It's not fair. It's just life. And that's how it goes. And I think James Harden understands that. And I think that he's able to play through it. I think Donovan understands that. He's able to play through it. I think that for too long, and it goes without saying where you have the Joe Vardon article right there, that, yeah, they needed a change. And part of that was a change in culture. Like, hey, man, it ain't going to be fair, but they don't just make it fair and give everybody a championship. If you want to do it, there's going to be things that you have to push past that other teams were willing to push past to get there. 8:20, Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. Could we be making a wild trade? Jay Glazer says there could be something wild tonight going on with the draft. We'll ask Mary Kay if the Browns could be involved in that. And knocking down one of the biggest concerns about Carnell Tate. I've been hearing a lot of things for 14 years. I never heard this about a wide receiver. That's in 5 on The Fan.
NFL Draft gets going tonight. We'll have it for you live. Coverage via the Browns Radio Network starts at 8 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Can I knock down one of the biggest quote-unquote concerns about Carnell Tate?
And he's not a Michigan player?
It's a good joke. Well done. My good buddy Brian Bush up there at Michigan would disagree with you.
I hate Ohio State.
I don't hate Ohio State. The whole speed thing, guys, listen. I love talking with people. Like, the worst thing was when people go, hey, man, I know you hate talking sport. No, I love talking sports, and I love talking sports with people. I love seeing people. I do like people. In the words of the late, great Dick Shapp, I collect people. And I love to see people out and about at car dealerships, at the grocery store, wherever. And the icebreaker is always the Browns. Like, I made the joke during Woolly Bear. I go, what are people going to do if the Browns are good? Because it's a typical icebreaker. What are we going to do? It's a way to get in conversation with each other. It really is. And talking to thousands, and I mean thousands, through the phones, in person, etc., of football fans, not just Browns fans, football fans. I never heard of one, hand to God, ever heard one of them before, during, or after a game say anything about how slow a wide receiver was. It's never happened to me. Nobody has ever called into this station with us on a Monday morning and complained about how slow a guy was. Hands, wrong route, focus, lack of focus, drugs, whatever it's been over the last 14 years, it has been said, all except for speed. So when I get, well, you can't take Carnell Tate because he runs a 4.52. It's like, guys, Corey Coleman took the lid off the 40 time. Anthony Schwartz is maybe the fastest guy who's ever played in a Browns jersey. And think of the territory that takes in. It's like, guys, I got to have a guy who catches. He catches. And he catches more. And he goes up for it. He fights guys for it. He plays. I think he's not the biggest. Like, he's compared to Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith is a freak of nature. So I hate to make the comparison. He's not the freak Jeremiah Smith is. He's not necessarily Ryan Williams, it feels. I think it feels like he's bigger than him, much bigger than him.
Yes.
And I'm going, this guy can go up and he can go get it. And he can fight one-on-one, and he can do things like, hey, let's not really overthink it. Like, if you want Jordan Tyson, I don't want Jordan Tyson just because of these workout videos. I would want Jordan Tyson because of what he did at Arizona State. Mekhi Lemon, you would want what he did. What he did, you would want him because of what he did at USC. With Carnell Tate, you guys are all Ohio State fans. 90% of the people I'm talking to are Ohio State fans. 8% are Notre Dame fans. 2% are Michigan fans. You guys all saw him because you guys all watch high-level football, so that means you were watching Ohio State. Don't tell me the guy's not worthy of number 6 overall. And just because he ran a 4.52 doesn't mean that you would pass on him. It's either A, you're afraid because he's a Browns possibility, and the Browns have not done exceedingly well in the draft. Throughout history, they did very well last year. Or the second thing is, and I get it, guys, you don't want to sound like a homer because he went to Ohio State. And that part I get more than anything else. Because I do. I fight it myself. Because I know the first thing people are going to bring up, like when I brought up Blake Miller, oh, Ken, where did he go to high school? I know, guys. I know where he went to high school. It's one of the same reasons I fought like crazy. And I didn't want Mitch Trubisky because I didn't think we were the right situation for him. I thought he was a bit overrated coming out. But I liked Mitch Trubisky a whole lot. But I knew I was going to hear it because he went to Menor. Same thing with Drew Aller. Same thing with lots of local guys. And I'm going, wait a minute. If a player's a good football player, just because he went to Ohio State or he's from Cleveland, Ohio, or Northeast Ohio, I don't think that should be a knock on him. But I'm going to look at him as a football player. I think Carnell Tate's a fantastic wide receiver who's definitely worthy of the number 6 overall pick for this football team, and we can set sail off into the future with the young.
I think the only time the speed really comes into play is after the catch. I might note, oh, yeah, he can't get away like Jamar Chase. You know, Jamar Chase catches a ball over the middle of the field, and he has a chance to take it to the house.
But we aren't comparing him to Jamar Chase.
Right, and it's important. So it's important that people understand that. And we were asked a question yesterday by our young producer who's trying to get past the probationary period, John.
He's getting
And
close.
He is getting closer.
He's getting close.
But he
keeps fighting me over Chase the Lottery. I don't know if he's going to
who
get
had
past
two
that.
more hits yesterday.
Oh,
Did
God.
not have a home run.
So
He did have 2 hits.
concerned about Chase the Lottery.
Is he out of the slump officially? 3 hits in 2 games.
Concerning.
So the only thing, when he responded, I said, you're not going to like my answer, because he said, does it matter to you, at number 6 overall, where some of these guys...
Matters to me if he answers these damn phone calls coming in right now. I'm kidding.
Where some of these guys are slotted, and I said, if it were any other year, I would go, are we sure we want Carnell Tate at number 6? Because he doesn't project as somebody. At 6, you want receivers who can literally make it a house call on every play. And that's the difference when it comes to Jefferson. That's the difference when it comes to Jamar Chase. And I said if it were any other draft, I would say that was problematic. I'm throwing out all my normal axioms in this draft.
Thank you. I do think their first priority is going to be to try to trade out, all right? I'm going under the premise that we're not going to be able to wheel and deal like everybody else, okay? That's what I'm going under. So if I can't go under and I got to take the best offensive player for me that I think is going to be the most surefire, I think that you can get a good offensive lineman there. Spencer Fano might be a very good offensive lineman. Okay, fine. But at 24, if I can't really move up, move down, wherever, am I going to have one of the better wide receivers? And then am I going to be having another conversation about another wide receiver bust for the Cleveland Browns? Like, that's what I'm trying to guard against here. I think you can develop and keep a good offensive lineman at number 24 overall or somewhere else. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that at number 24 overall with a wide receiver. So, yeah, that plays into my psyche here a little bit. By the way, Coach Riz was on last night, their final draft preview show, getting ready for the 2026 NFL draft. Here's Coach Lance Reisland last night on The Fan.
Those top 3 are what everybody talks about, but if you're talking about who I think's the best and fits what the Browns need, it's Mekhi Lemon. If you're saying an outside guy who's number 1, it would be Carnell Tate. The thing that I don't particularly, that's why I have him at 3, is simply his run after catch. I just think it's so important in the NFL that you can get not only the explosives, but the way you create explosives to get to second too, right? And I've said that with you guys before, and I think that's what Mekhi Lemon does the best. Now you could take a play-action shot. Now, you would love to have a receiver, an alpha out there already, because then Lemon makes more sense, Tyson makes more sense. But if you get that number 1, as we talked, now Jerry Jeudy becomes a very good 2. Fannin now always gets a linebacker or a safety. They got to go nickel, which is going to lighten the box for Judkins in the run game. So there's so many things that legit outside receiver does. I don't think there's a receiver in this class that can come in as a rookie and be a stud 1 outside receiver. I think Carnell Tate can be very good, though. But I don't think he's a guy that's going to he's not Jamar Chase. If that's what we're holding it to, that's not where he's at, in my opinion. So the guy that fits this offense best would be Mekhi Lemon for me.
And Coach Riz has been as steadfast can be. I think he's been saying that about Mekhi Lemon for the last couple of months. And I respect Coach Riz tremendously. So obviously he feels strongly about it. I think the only thing that's stopping me from Mekhi Lemon is probably just honestly because I have seen more Carnell Tate. I have seen more of him. I trust Carnell Tate more than I trust Mekhi Lemon.
We've seen him make the contested catches. I mean, just
Mekhi Lemon's a fine wide receiver. I'm not taking that away from him, but I can only go by what I've seen more of. And I have to admit I've seen more Ohio State than I've seen USC. It's a terrible thing to admit probably, but I have to be honest with everybody.
It's one thing I really loved about Carnell Tate because we're mentioning Jamar Chase. We just got to get that out of our head. He's not gonna catch the ball over the middle of the field, and next thing you know, he's striding away from guys. What he will do is catch the ball over the field on 3rd and 8 with guys draped all over him.
Can he keep my offense on the field? Can he keep my offense on the field? Can I, when I need it, it's exactly what you said. On 3rd and 8, when I got to have a first down to stay in this football game, if we're down by 10 and I got to get this thing within 1 possession here, and I got a first down that I need to at least take some pressure off my offense and get in a field goal range for Andre Schmidt. Can he get over the middle and get a 3rd and 7 and keep our offense moving so we can at least get a first down, we can at least get a field goal out of this? That is what I'm looking for. And if that, you could say, well, Ken, you can get that out of a number 3. No, you can't. We can't do that. We can't. We haven't been able to. If the draft included Jamar Chase, I'm not arguing for Carnell Tate over Jamar Chase. But the draft has what it has. I take who I have. And I do think that they would probably be, that they would want to trade out. but I don't believe there's going to be a bunch of people looking to move up to number 6 to make a trade with you when there's only one quarterback that's worthy taken in the top 10 of this draft. So if there's only one quarterback worthy of taken, I think that maybe some people are going to let the draft come to them. So I don't know how much of a market you're going to have. I have to guard against the possibility of not being able to make a trade in 8 minutes when we get our number 6 overall draft pick. So all I'm trying to do, if you guys want to make a trade, I'm not arguing against making a trade. I'm guarding against not being able to make a trade and going with somebody who I think is going to be a solid, I hate using the word safe in top 10. That's just unsexy and people hate it, but I'm going to do it. A solid, safe pick that's going to be able to help me move this offense and go out and get first downs. That's what I'm looking to do this year. I don't want to risk it in a worse draft. I want a solid draft, and I want guys who I know, who I believe are going to start for me for the next 5 to 8 years.
Point blank, if you can answer me now, please try. If they end up at number 6, staying there, but taking the other wide receiver and the guy who's been a workout warrior of late in Jordan Tyson.
I'll answer that question at 7:21. I promise on the Fan, as well as, do both first-round picks have to be on offense? Are we just focusing too much on that? That and Mary Kay Cabot at 8:20 on the Fan.
24. Guardians lose to the Astros 2-0 yesterday. Tanner Bibee gives them a 2-run homer in the top of the first, and that would be the only scoring in the game. Bibee takes the loss, despite allowing just those 2 runs in 6 innings. NFL Draft gets going tonight. We'll have it for you live. Coverage via the Browns Radio Network begins at 8 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Mary Kay, 8:20 this morning. Could the Browns be involved in any wild trades? Jay Glazer, NFL insider, he was saying that, he's sitting on something pretty big, pretty juicy that could happen in the first round of the NFL draft. Maybe some people are telling him, trying to see if they can get the fire stoked. That's always a possibility. It is a game of liar's poker that's going on right now in the NFL draft. Remember, Odyssey Sports Draft coverage presented nationally by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. You got to be 21 and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only, and by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. 9 o'clock, Joe Varn going to join us on the show. We'll talk Cavs, Raptors, Game 3 with him. About last night coming up in about 15 minutes, where it wasn't all bad yesterday for the Guardians. I know they lost, but it wasn't all bad. You asked me about what if the Browns took the other wide receiver. Did you mention the other wide receiver's name? Did you say Jalen Tyson? I said I was going to answer that question. I got to answer that question.
Jordan Tyson.
Tyson. I said Jalen Tyson.
Oh, that's going to happen a lot if we take him.
Cavs on the brain. I'm sorry. What if they took Jordan Tyson, is what you said, right?
Yeah. Because you said that Carnell Tate handed in, I don't know if you said sprint to the podium, but you said...
I just say go to the podium. I think he's going to be solid. See, this is where I'm at, because Carnell Tate, he played in 11 games last year. Jordan Tyson played 9 games last year. There are people who have Jordan Tyson definitely ranked ahead of Carnell Tate here. I'm looking for the more solid, consistent wide receiver, I would say, right? If they take Jordan Tyson, it's going to be difficult to not get him confused with Jalen Tyson. It's going to be a good story. What I like about Jordan Tyson is, from what I hear from some people who are in the Big 12, hint, hint, that he's a dog. He is a dog. You need a dog as a wide receiver. He could play any position on the field. You could play the X. You could put him Y. You could put him at Z. You could do anything you want with him because he's strong enough to do it. But there are those injury concerns. So if you take any wide receiver, maybe I just have to understand this, is that any wide receiver, are they going to play 17 games for you all the time, or are you going to have 14 games out of them? I mean, Denzel Ward, would anybody pass on Denzel Ward?
No.
Uh-huh. And we're always like, well, is Denzel Ward going to be able to do a whole season? Like, we always do that, but Denzel Ward's an incredible player for you. There's just times where you're going to possibly have to deal without Denzel Ward because he's a little banged up. But he's been a fantastic Cleveland Brown throughout his career. Brilliant. Best since 99, best corner since 99. Would Jordan Tyson be that way? Like, Jordan Tyson's a really, really, really good wide receiver. I just prefer Carnell Tate for all the reasons that I've specified. So I won't be mad. I will not be mad. The only one that I might question, maybe Mekhi Lemon, if they were to take him at 6, but I think I'm being a little bit nitpicky here.
And is it the press conference or is it the football?
No. Somebody had, I think it was Lance Zierlein had said, quote, he was ordinary after catch.
Okay.
Is what I had written there from Lance Zierlein. The after catch stuff kind of just, if you're catching it for 8 yards, it's going to be about 8.5, and that's where it is. That's scouting. But again, of these 3 guys.
That's tough. That's really tough to think about it. 6 overall.
But I'll tell you, of these 3 guys, obviously I'm going to watch a lot of Ohio State because you can't help it. I watched a lot of Big 12 football last year. I watched a lot of Big 10 football with Denzel Boston. We've stressed how much big Texas A&M football I had to watch last year. USC out of Arizona State, Ohio State, USC, Washington, Texas A&M. I'll throw in Jeremy Bernard as well at Alabama. I'll throw in Omar Cooper at Indiana. USC is easily the lowest amount of teams that I watch, games that I watch, out of all those teams. So there is a little bit, if I don't know as much about you as I know about Jordan Tyson or Denzel Boston or Carnell Tate or Casey Concepcion, if you don't know that much, you're not going to be willing to hand in the card on that guy. But just because I don't know much, and this is something we got to learn. Just because I don't know as much about it, I'll be open. If I don't know as much about Mekhi Lemon as I do about Denzel Boston or about Casey Concepcion or about any of these guys that we mentioned here over the last 2 seconds, doesn't mean they're going to be a horrific pick. Just because we don't know about them doesn't mean that they're garbage. We did this last year. I wanted to make sure we did this last year when it came down to Carson Schlesinger in the second round. Because I openly admitted, the first interview we had, I'm like, hey, man, I watched UCLA 6 times his final year at UCLA. I was watching the teams he was playing against. I didn't notice him. He's the defensive rookie of the year. But I wasn't going to go shoot my mouth off Friday night, the night he was drafted, or Monday with you, because I said, hey, this is a scout's move. Everybody loves him. I'll openly admit I didn't see him, so I'm not going to shoot my mouth off and rant and rave against the pick, even though history had shown at that time that Andrew Berry's picks were not always that great. He hit it out of the park with Carson. Out of the park.
Okay, the other side of this is, what is the reaction from Browns fans if they get ready, you hear the chimes, the pick is in, there's been a trade. Will people,
how far down?
Does anybody fist pump trade downs?
What do I get back? How far down? If they get a first-round pick in like 2027, you might have to dump me. I might just start shouting cuss words on the air. I'll be that excited.
I would think that was pretty miraculous if they were able to pull that off.
You want to talk about saying irresponsible things on the radio? Like, if he gets another first-round pick next year, am I willing to guarantee his job for 2027 and let him make that pick at quarterback? Is that irresponsible to do?
We'll see how the year goes.
That's probably been irresponsible, right? Okay.
Maybe we just
making sure it's irresponsible.
Maybe we just let Andrew Berry handle the trades and somebody else to handle the picks at that point. We'll see.
You would make fun of me and say that you shouldn't do that and that Keith would put up a video, right?
But it would be amazing. It would be amazing because it's been hard to think about any GM worth anything trading one of the first-round picks in the coveted, storied, famed 2027 draft. I just wonder if people at their watch parties, you're there, you want to see picks made in the first round, and then it's a trade down. Is it a collective whimper? Even though responsibly you might think that's the better way to engineer the draft.
At a draft party, you said at the Browns draft party?
At the
Browns draft party, they'll be disappointed. You want to be excited. Everybody wants to take a pick. Everybody wants to be excited about a guy. Everybody wants to get worked up about it. I mean, I remember, what was the year we were thinking about they were going to take Sammy Watkins?
Oh, yeah.
And they had traded back, and everybody was just like, great, whatever. Like, that's kind of how people probably feel at a draft party. Like, they want to get excited about somebody. I imagine they got the jerseys. Remember, you were alive during the Johnny draft at the draft party, and they were printing off the jerseys, the Manziel jerseys. That's kind of what you want. But if you're just sitting at home watching the draft, or I know baseball season just opened up, so if you're at a baseball game with your kids or something like that, and you look at your phone and your buddy texted you while you're coaching third base that they just traded out of number 6 before the draft even starts, maybe you feel a little, okay, let's see what we get back on that. Paul and Ken, you want to take a player or you want to trade out of number 6? Paul.
Oh, I would pick I would go with Carnell Tate, number 6.
Okay, why?
Hardcore. Yeah, because this is the main thing. You can have, like, the offensive line played a little bit better last year, but it doesn't matter if people aren't getting open. I've seen Joe Burrows with a bad offensive line score points. Shedeur Sanders with the worst offensive line in college score points. If you have someone that's a dog that ain't going to lead the league in drops. You cannot go into next year with the last ranked wide receiving group again. Jared Jeudy leading the league in drops again, because no matter where you're going to go with the ball, unless you have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick skill set, there's nothing you can do. Sit there, just eat it. So, I like the dressing to our offensive line that we've done, and hopefully we do that more in this draft. But we have to, without a doubt, and this doesn't just help the quarterbacks this year. It helps the quarterbacks next year if we end up having to go get quarterbacks next year.
Yeah, Paul, I think you're right about it, and I thank you very much for the call. See, my thought is, like, I'm thinking offense with both picks. I'm going to ask you a question here in a second about that, and Mary Kay's going to join us at 8:22 as well. And I want to ask her this question coming up here momentarily. Like, I'm thinking differently than how I've thought for many, many, many years. And I think it might end up being a one-off. Maybe I got to change the way I think, because things are always changing in sports, and I can't be caught in the past. I'm always inside out. Line of scrimmage, then work your way out. I think this draft is different because if I take a wide receiver, or if I take an offensive lineman, say I take an offensive lineman at 6, like Now all of a sudden you got 4 or 5 mock drafts out there saying that they're going to take Spencer Fano at number 6 overall, which we just got texted Benjamin Albright's mock draft where he has the Browns trading down to 17. And he says it's his only mock draft. And I go, buddy, you might want to get another mock draft if that's your only mock draft because I don't like what you're mocking there. If you take Fano at number 6, then I put myself in a position, I know I'm going to say it tonight, where I want to move up from 24.
Yeah.
I want to trade up and move up from 24.
You.
Because I'm going to want to take a wide receiver there and want my best crack at it. Because Fano, like what has been said before is that you would take like maybe Monroe Freeling at number 6, or you would take Caden Proctor at number 6, and I go, man, both of those guys are projects. Like you could take Monroe Freeling at number 6 and very well not start him week 1 against whoever you're playing.
And people lose their mind.
And people are going to lose their mind. And you know what? In 5 years, we could be laughing, and he could be the best left tackle in the NFL. But I know for week 1, they ain't going to be happy. And I know we got to play the long game. I'm not trying to just do it right now for instant gratification. But let me go back to this.
But man, how secure would this coach and this GM feel if they could take projects at number 6 overall?
Of course, you would feel great. But if you take Fano at number 6, you know he's going to start week 1. So if he starts week 1, that's going to be perfectly fine. You could stick him left, right, doesn't matter. You should be okay. But then I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a wide receiver. Wide receivers were a problem last year. I mean, you've brought it up several times, Anthony, several times. And maybe it's just a bigger quarterback problem than we want to admit. Some of us want to admit. The offensive line play rated better than what a lot of fans believe what they saw. I think some fans would disagree with the ratings considering how it is, but the protection numbers were there. I'm not going to sit here and get bogged down in a big fight over Pro Football Talks, or not Pro Football Talks, PFF's rankings of the offensive line in the protections as the season went on. But if you take Spencer Fano and then you don't have a wide receiver to throw to, we're going to find ourselves stuck in the same spots because your wide receiver play wasn't very good. So if I take a project at number 6, now I'm really nervous because then I think I might take another project at 24. If I take Fano at number 6, then I think I have to move up. Well, how am I going to move up? Then I create a market against myself to possibly move up. That's what I'm trying to guard against because I still think you can get yourself a good offensive lineman at 24 or move up a little bit to get a really good offensive lineman for you instead of the other way around with the wide receivers. I think it could be dried up.
How sure of what all the other teams, how sure can you truly be? What is amazing is after all these drafts, when the GMs actually do the very few that actually go in depth, it is amazing sometimes how much they do know about other teams. And they base it on the needs, obviously. Mm-hmm. But how they can anticipate what other teams are going to do on a draft day. And they're not getting it just from media reports, right? Mm-hmm. They're actually talking to people around the league. And that's part of the job. You don't just talk to teams, to talk about a specific trade. You're trying to gather intel on everybody, and you build your allies around the league. And so that part of the draft is always really amazing to me because the Browns will operate out of some informed area, some informed angle when they proceed to make a trade up like that from 24 overall, because they're going to sit there and go, well, we know what they might do. We know their proclivities. We know their guardrails. Yeah. Like that's a big part of, there is espionage, right? There's gathering intel on how all these other organizations deal with, especially on draft night from their war room.
Now, going back to what Charles Davis told us yesterday, I want to ask you this. Are you more willing to, if they go with Fano at number 6, are you willing to then go maybe defense at number 24 and not force our hands with a wide receiver? Knowing that our wide receiver room is one of the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That'll be a tough pill to swallow.
Because Charles had brought up Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. And he can fly. He's a good player. He just happens to play defense. Are you more in best overall player? Because you could be like, hey, he's definitely worth the 24th overall pick if he were there at 24. But he plays defense.
I hate to be so stubborn, Ken.
It's a tough sell about that, man.
I hate to be so stubborn, but if they went lineman at 6, I think they got to trade up to get the wide receiver they want later in the first round.
I think so, too, because you want more cracks at it maybe, but are 9 picks going to suit you in a draft that you really don't particularly care for? I want to ask Mary Kay that question at 8:22. Coming up next, the Guardians lost, but it wasn't all bad. I found a silver lining. I think you can, too. Also, Mike Vrabel. Sitting out day 3 of the draft. How big of a blow is that to the New England Patriots? A little bit bigger than you may think. It's coming up in About Last Night on The Fan.
best stories sent straight to your inbox. 923thefan.com.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
I really don't give a I mean, it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. He couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Well, yesterday afternoon, the Guardians lost 2-0. And guys, this is the proper way to react to a loss. Tanner Bybee did pitch well. He only allowed one home run to Yordan Alvarez, who literally has the triple crown in the MLB right now. Chase DeLauder did have 2 hits, so I think he's broken out of his slump there. And I don't know, this Guardians team, they just didn't hit last night, but we'll see them back again tomorrow.
Well, you're hemming and hawing there a whole bunch, ain't you? Oh, when I beat you in an argument, then all of a sudden you're wrong. Well, let's pussyfoot around the situation here a little bit.
He got 2 hits last night. Now we're good.
I got a disturbing, Kenny. Do you remember Big Mike?
All it took was one game for John to flippity-floppity.
First of all, it's 2 games because I didn't say anything about it yesterday.
Yeah, you said he still wasn't out of the slump after, so it was technically 2. So it was technically 2 games.
That's all it took. 2 games.
That's all it took.
I've told you before about Big Mike. He is a huge Detroit fan, former roommate at Ohio State, and he texted in the middle of the night last night, "Here we go again, negative run differential, and you're in first place. WTF."
Good.
Keep him hyped up.
Tell Big Mike to kiss my big ass. We're in first place.
He's 6'5".
Negative run differential. Ooh. Big Mike beat me.
He's got an inch on you? Oh, yeah.
Well, he said he's 6'5".
He's a big dude.
Oh, he can get me?
But he was like an AAU basketball player. You were a football player.
Doesn't matter. There's a bunch of basketball players out there who whoop my ass. I don't think that matters. Right?
When will the Guardians have a positive run differential?
Now, wait a minute. He's supposed to be running that. They just hit the whoosh.
No, we don't need to do that. The Guardians will have a positive run differential later on in the season.
Yeah. Nah, he obviously hasn't been rooting for the Guardians for very long now, has he? Oh, boy.
The Magic and the Pistons game last night, neither team got to the century mark. And the Pistons ended up winning that game, and they evened the series. But this is what Anthony Lima said about the Magic Pistons game earlier in the show.
I'm sitting there like 6 minutes into the second quarter, and they're still in the 20s.
That's that.
And I'm sitting there going, man, if we could just take care of Toronto quickly, 4 or 5 games, wait for the winner of this series. We have so much more offensive weapons than these teams do. And they can't even dribble the basketball.
I thought the NBA playoffs were supposed to be the best playoffs. If these teams can't even dribble, how many people are watching these games, and how good is this
was rough.
Product?
This was definitely a turn off. Find something else. Go find some hockey.
You brought it up. They barely scored 2 decades apiece.
Well, when we talk about 4 score and 7 years ago when it comes to the centuries, it was brutal. It was brutal, and both these teams are offensively challenged. Now, they're both very physical, and they're both good defensive teams. But what do we know about the postseason? That's why the superstars come into play, because they can elevate their game, and there's no defending the stuff I've seen so far out of certainly Donovan Mitchell. Some of those circus shots, there's no defense for that. But that's why you have the superstars. That's why, as much as James Harden has that playoff reputation, he still has the ability to hit those tough shots when guys are all over him. And I just don't think the Magic or the Pistons, the more and more I see them, they've got a bunch of guys that I think are going to shrink in the playoffs. So I know the Cavs have had guys shrink in the playoffs before, but I feel a lot better today when it comes to not only the Cavs situation in the first round, but also the second round.
It's making me feel nervous about tonight because this is all going too well for us right now.
Right. It's set up for them to lose a game by 20.
Yeah. This is all setting up real, real well. Oh, boy. It's too good. Things can't be too good around here. I gotta
Kenny,
remain focused.
I love the fact that already Toronto has tried to make some big adjustments in the series, and nothing has worked.
So you're really going to hate it when I ask you at 8 o'clock whether or not this controversial Cavalier has proven himself already. More on that coming up at 8:01 on The Fan. Go ahead.
Mike Vrabel. He's going to miss day 3 of the draft. These guys are laughing at me again. Jesus.
You want to start over?
Yeah. I'm trying to do a whoosh again. Mike Vrabel is going to miss day 3 of the NFL draft as the head coach. The Patriots have 8 of their 11 picks on Saturday. This is ridiculous. How is
and
a coach
9 of their
just
10
leaving?
coaches. So it is unbelievable. It is incredible that this story, who I'm sure everybody thought, all right, on draft day, this story will go away. Yet they made it a story.
He didn't have to leave.
So what do you think? Who do you think's responsible for this? Because I've heard some people say, "Oh,
He's
this
responsible for it."
Oh, I've heard some people say this is a punishment.
Oh, you talk about the punishment. I thought you meant like this whole thing. He's responsible for.
Well, it takes 2 to tango, Ken.
And she's responsible for her side, but clearly,
No, I meant him and Robert Kraft.
If you're stepping down, you're taking responsibility for yourself, aren't you? Jerry Thornton, our good buddy from Barstool, who, when you and I were both on CBS Sports Radio, RIP, we both had him on as a guest. Jerry is a wonderful guy. Says the Patriots have 8 of their 11 picks on Saturday. If the Patriots were a restaurant, this would be like the chef taking Mother's Day off, which is, damn, I didn't realize they had that many picks on Saturday.
Especially Vrabel. Like Vrabel, not that he's a scout, but he's somebody who is, not that far removed from coaching in college, and he is somebody who's got a lot of power. Like if he wants a draft pick, he gets the draft pick.
You could see it being taken as a punishment. I told you, I think it is an attempt to kind of quiet the media, because when the new photos came out of them at breakfast together, you getting strawberries on them pancakes there, John? All right.
I don't understand what.
That's okay. That's okay.
John
That's
made
all
it
right.
clear earlier
Like
in the
some
break,
fruit.
moments ago, that he likes dessert for breakfast. He goes, where can you get some jonesing for some pancakes and, whipped cream and sprinkles? Like he's my 3-year-old. Yeah, that'll be 3,500 calories before 10 a.m. to start
Can't
the day.
imagine a guy who watched Elf and said, you know what, that's what we're going to have for breakfast right there every day for the rest of our lives. And that's coming from me, giant fat ass. I thought that this was maybe an attempt to hide away, because when the media first saw this, I saw several people I follow like, oh, here we go again. And part of me was like, hey, man, like, she took her hit. I don't think her career should be over because of this. I think people can be redeemed. People make mistakes. This is a pretty bad mistake from what it seems. Can't allege that it happened, but it looks pretty damn bad. You could take this as maybe a punishment. It's a pretty big punishment. But I think it's like, well, now, what can you say? Can we rip off jokes about Mike Vrabel? Because now he's seeking help. He's seeking counseling, Tony.
That's when, the moment I would go do anything to seek help, that's when the group chat would pop off. That's when I'd get made fun of the most. They would not be feeling bad for me or wondering about where I am mentally. It would just be jokes. Now, are we supposed to be responsible with this story because families are attached? Of course we are. Will we?
But everybody,
probably not.
But there's so many people alleging that it was one of their spouses that hired the PI person to do it. And I just can't believe somebody would do that. You got kids. I just would not involve everybody else in the world into my anger and frustration over the infidelity of my spouse.
Or you'd hire them and not leak it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But that's what I meant. I wouldn't leak it. I don't need to embarrass you. You messed up. If I'm embarrassing you, I'm really embarrassing myself and dragging our family through this. I'll see you in court. Give me what I'm owed. I'll clean you out, and that'll be it. You're a football coach, you'll make more money. You're a famous reporter, you'll make more money. Whatever side, whoever's spouse might have done this allegedly, fine. But I don't know. It seems to be either A, it's a punishment, which is a hell of a punishment when you do have 8 picks on that Saturday, or B, it's a way to kind of silence the critics. You're seeking help. Once a person seeks help and seeks counseling, that's a rail that not a lot of people are willing to touch, John.
And that's it for About Last Night.
Wonderful job, John. So is it sprinkles with
just strawberries?
Just strawberries?
Do you have any
strawberries?
Do you have any caramel and nougat on there too?
I can't eat that stuff.
I'd like an order of the tiramisu pancakes, please. Come on, John.
Mary Kay.
You're gonna fall apart. Next time we see John pass the probationary period, he's gonna be like up 50 pounds.
Oh Lord, I'm already down 10 since moving here.
Really? You're losing weight
Yes.
moving to the Midwest?
Yes.
And you haven't even had a stapler thrown at you
moving
yet.
to Cleveland?
What?
Who loses weight moving to Cleveland?
I've been going to Planet Fitness every day.
Wait till the office supplies start getting hurled at him.
I never threw anything at anybody. People,
Liar.
It's going to be like the Michigan thing. People are going to start believing that and not just busting my stones over it. Is it too early to say that this controversial Cavalier has... Me at my next,
now.
That's everybody yelling at me at my next youth football meeting. Is it too early to say that this controversial Cavalier
That's on Izzy's birthday.
has proven himself? And is there actually somebody we just can't take at number 6 overall? Ken Carman, Tone Master General, Mary Kay, 822 on the Fan.
It's Anthony Lima. Time to start thinking about
on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Baseball, basketball, and the Browns. It's why you need the afternoon drive. Weekdays starting at 2.
Can I dare say it? Now, I'm taking Carnell Tate at 6. I'll get to the draft here in just a moment. Give me 5 minutes. Cavs play Raptors tonight, Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Playoffs. All Cavs conversations brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea. We ask you to please enjoy that Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly. Joe Varn going to join us at 9. It's been 2 games of the postseason. When can I say, I should ask it in the form of a question, not a declaration. When can I say that Evan Mobley has proven himself and we don't have to worry no more? I don't care about the rebounds the other night. He was awesome. He asserted himself with dominance inside. He was 6 of 6 from the field inside on Monday night. He was excellent. It is still a 4-5 seed matchup. I know things are going to get more difficult. But it's like, oh my God, Scotty Barnes, this and that and the other, and he didn't care. No,
it's been great matchup because Evans had to hear all season
I'm so encouraged
how much better Scotty Barnes is than him. Now, most people, the takeaway was Evan Mobley outplayed Scotty and has outplayed Scotty the first 2 games. Now, I do think Scotty kind of figured some things out, especially getting Evan Mobley up in the air on some of those pump fakes. That's going to be an adjustment the Cavs definitely need to make because Toronto's going to go, they are going to say full speed ahead, Scotty. That's going to be an opportunity to go at Evan, get some fouls, called on him, have the Cavs have to go to their bench. I don't know if Thomas Bryant's going to be available tonight. He's missed the first 2 games, and they really could use another center.
Kenny said he thinks he might be back tonight.
Yeah, that would be nice. But altogether, I have to say, Evan, since the All-Star break, has been a different player. Now, why has he been a different player? Why has he looked more confident? I
know why.
Why are his percentages up?
His name rhymes with James Harden. That's why.
Okay.
Because he can find him.
Honestly, I
he's
think
not
that's a
playing
big part of
guessing
it.
games in the post anymore.
I think he's learned, and the Cavs
I don't know why
have
I'm so
learned.
mad. I'm just
agree
excited.
with you.
I'm just excited. I ain't mad.
I think we saw immediately the chemistry was there between James Harden and obviously Jared Allen, but Allen got injured. He missed like 9 or 10 games, and then it was Evan's turn to establish himself as to where he needs to be on the floor, how to make eye contact. You get the rhythm, the beats of each other's game, and where you're most comfortable. And let's be honest, they knocked out a lot of the stuff that Evan just wasn't able to master this early in his career. And a lot of that was the unicorn stuff that I wanted them to force. I said it the last few years. I want to see Evan dribbling the ball. I want to see him shooting threes. Well, it's the playoffs. You better be able to do what you can do.
Doesn't look like he's forced to do it anymore. Am I wrong? I've been watching all these damn games. I've been watching the games that everybody said, well, excuse me, not everybody, but certain people who are out there who call themselves Cavs fans, who said that they weren't watching anymore or whatever. I sat there and I watched these games, and he looks more fluid. He looks like he's more comfortable. He looks like he's just more confident. And I think it's the difference with James Harden being there. James Harden is still going to be there for assists. James Harden knows all the spots on the floor. He's a former All-Pro. He's a 17-year vet, and he just does things at a higher level than Darius Garland. That's not a shot at Darius Garland. It's just the truth. So I know that you had a bunch of people yelling at you on social media yesterday, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sorry. The truth is the truth is the truth. And James Harden is the superior basketball player. And that argument is dead, but he's also the superior basketball player that makes everybody around him better. He has given Donovan Mitchell somebody else to rely on, a veteran who takes it seriously, who knows that they have a legacy to leave behind. As who was on the station earlier this week said that this playoff run might be able to change the entire legacy of James Harden. What was it? Was it inside the NBA or was it a guest on this station? One of the two. Everything's mixing up for me, so I don't want to go shoot my mouth off about that. But when it comes to James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, these are guys who are supposed to leave legacies behind. And maybe Evan Mobley will be that guy someday. Maybe he will. But he's getting the chance to start to become that guy again because James Harden's on this basketball team.
Also, what I love, and this is as you get further along in the playoffs, the Cavs have their flaws. Every team in the East has their flaws. Basically, every team with the exception of Oklahoma City on paper has flaws. But what I like is as I continue to project ahead, Let's say we get by Toronto in 4 or 5 games. Now you're playing either most likely the Pistons because they got their act together yesterday and really blew out the Magic from start to finish. But that's a clunky series. Both teams offensively challenged. Are people telling me that I'm supposed to think that Evan can't do this against Wendell Carter Jr. on Orlando? Are people telling me that he can't have any success against Jalen Duren, who's had a great year? But I'm telling you, Evan's getting more and more confident. And then following that, if it's the Boston Celtics, there's no Kristaps Porzingis unicorn. There's no Al Horford who knows every angle and has that IQ and has been around forever and has playoff and championship experience.
Got to tell you, a lot of respect.
Right? None of that exists anymore, guys. I'm telling you, Evan Mobley has a chance to elevate his stature in this playoff run. So you asked, when is it going to be the case where we start to have that confidence?
Thank you.
Well, this is the runway.
Can't say two games in. I can't say 2 games into the postseason. It would seem premature. But I have to ask the question, and I have to start to make the argument for him, and I hope he gets there because I love what he's done in these first couple of games, and I think a lot of it has to do with James Harden being able to facilitate and find him and also draw defenses to him and have to take him seriously as a guy who's not just a shooter. Darius is a good shooter, but also a physical presence. It has long been known you can knock Darius off the spot. If you can knock one of those guys off the spot, it becomes easier to defend against a guy like Evan Mobley. It becomes easier to defend against Jarrett Allen, for crying out loud. But when you have James Harden out there, it's made things easier for Evan and Jarrett. And if Jarrett's healthy, Jarrett can feast. Evan is feasted, and I'm telling you, I think that I'm starting to be able to see what's possible for Evan Mobley finally. That doesn't mean he's a number one. That doesn't mean he's a 1%er yet. Okay? It doesn't mean I'm calling him the unicorn again. But what I'm seeing is a better, more confident player than I've seen maybe ever. I mean, maybe ever. Because obviously we didn't watch a lot of him at USC. Boy, I got a blind spot for USC, don't I? After what I said about Makai Lemon and everything else.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was not watching a whole lot of USC over the last how many years. Is there a player we just can't take tonight at 6?
So I think it's Jeremiah Love.
Okay.
I know
there's
that
a
sounds
difference
crazy.
Won't take, they will not, because I don't think there's a chance in hell they're going to take Jeremiah
somebody
Love.
that they
Record
could
this
take.
just in case, that'd be fun. I'm saying who they would take, and you go, oh my God.
Probably, and this is your fault, Kenny, I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably Freeling.
He could be a really good player. I just don't want to. I don't want to rush him.
Overall.
I don't want to blame it on me. You make your own decisions.
I know, but I tried to have an open mind about this 3 weeks ago when we talked about him, and I said, Kenny, we're a project. Why can't we draft a project? Who cares? It's not about wins and losses this year for the Browns team. And the more and more you talked about him, and right now, not necessarily his ceiling, because his ceiling is what, Kenny? His ceiling is why you would take him.
He could be a very good offensive line, be a very good left tackle.
Yeah.
That's why you would take him.
But does it necessarily have that floor that you can reasonably and reliably take him and help him assist this newly built offensive line with all the moving parts right away?
This is my issue. If you take Monroe Freeling, I will come on the air tomorrow and I will yell about patience and yell that he doesn't have to start week 1. And I just envision a future with Monroe Freeling that makes me out to be completely devoid of what people think is reality. So let me explain this as quickly as possible here. You take Monroe Freeling at number 6. Then Monroe Freeling can't start week 1. Say he can't. Say DeJuan Jones has to start week 1. Okay? Now, you might just take him and start him at number 6 overall, and people might just say, oh, Ken, stop it. Well, if he's not ready to go, he's not ready to go. That's a George Warhop conversation, okay? So say he's not ready to start week 1. Then all of a sudden the B word's getting thrown around. B word's getting thrown around like crazy. Then you get into the rest of the season. And I go and I look at some of the offensive linemen that have turned out and have had solid careers. Not great, tremendous careers, but solid careers. They weren't necessarily taken at number 6. They didn't start week 1, but we've said crazy things about them. I think that the league is changing with offensive linemen. And the expectation of how soon they play, how soon they start, how soon that they're relied upon. And I don't know if you have to take a guy in the first round and he has to start week 1 as an offensive lineman anymore. Okay, that's tough to say, but I think it's true. Certainly not round 2 and beyond. But I think people look at it that way and they think that way because we've had Joel Bitonio before, and there's been a lot of guys who have done it in the past. You know what I've said about labels before? If you have a guy you take in the first couple of rounds and he ain't there for week 1, they're automatically going to be saying, you're a bad football team and you took a project. You're in a position to take a project at number 6 overall. Are you crazy? So I don't think that they would take Monroe Freeling. But I would also say, well, now I got to roll up my sleeves and I got to go to every practice and talk to every coach and talk to every person and see how he's doing, because I'm going to have to try. I'm going to want to try to defend him because maybe some of the stuff isn't going to be really fair to him. But if he sucks, he sucks. But I don't think he's going to suck. I just don't think that we're the right place to take a guy like that at number 6 overall, just because he's a classic left tackle. And plus, Brian Baldinger had some strong conversation about him, going, hey, man, a guy like Myles Garrett can ruin his spirit in the very first season with how they practice. And that's a scary thing. You have to have a lot of mental strength, emotional strength if you're a left tackle getting drafted by this football team, knowing that 95's against you in every practice, and you have to believe that iron sharpens iron and you can't get down on yourself. He's just going to make you better. Because by the time it's all over, you can be the best to ever do it. He's the best of the generation, so you're dealing with the best to do it in this generation every day. So Monroe Freeling has to have the right mindset every single day. Because for all we know, what have we been saying about Jed Wills for years? Toughness, work ethic, Who was he going against in practice every day? Yeah. If you're not tough and you're not mentally tough and you're not ready to dig deep and work harder, yeah, he'll ruin you. He don't care. He's out there. He's there to make plays, make himself better, make his defense better when he's at practice. I know. Don't even start your stuff.
Did Kenny, who talked me out of Freeling, did he just inadvertently try to talk me back into it?
I don't know, but he's not Jed Wills. I know that, but he's going to have to be real damn tough if you took that guy at number 6. And I just don't think that we're the right place for each other at number 6. That's all I'm going to point out. 216-474-0092. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us here in 5 minutes. Could there be a wild-ass trade that's out there for the Cleveland Browns right now in this draft? Because Jay Glazer says there's some crazy things going on in the first round right now. Well, could the Browns be involved in it? Mary Kay is going to answer that in 5 on The Fan.
here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
It's time for Crazy Ass Trades. Stop dancing in the YouTube camera. We are on YouTube Live for absolutely free. We're on the free Odyssey app. It's time for Crazy Trades, possibly. Could the Browns be a part of Crazy Trades? Well, let's welcome in Mary Kay Cabot. And what are they going to do at 6-24? Well, let's welcome in Mary Kay Cabot from the Cleveland Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com. She's on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Mary Kay, hello.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. What are the chances we're drafting at number 6 overall? Do we stay or do we go?
I think the chances are pretty good that they stay there because you have to make sure that you have the right deal to move down. They're not going to move down just for the sake of it. You have to make sure that you're not trading away from someone really great. And then you also have to make sure you get the compensation that you're looking for. And it's not always easy to pull off those deals. But they are one of the first teams that I think teams will target for a move up. So I do think that, they will get calls. They will have interest in the pick. It's just a matter of if the deal is good enough or not to make it.
Are they totally at the mercy of the Giants and how the Giants want to set up their draft situation, given that they could control the board?
Well, the Giants do hold a lot of power right now. They definitely do. And there's still a lot of uncertainty about what's going to be happening 2 to 5. And there probably will be some shakeups up there. There will be some trades perhaps that do happen above the Browns. So they might not exactly know which one of their faves is going to be there at number 6. But certainly what the Giants do is going to be pivotal because let's say that they really want Jordan Tyson. They might not be able to wait for him at number 10, so they have to take him at number 5. There are a lot of different ways that they can go there, but yes, that's going to be a huge factor.
Mary Kay, who would you take at number 6? Your personal opinion, then who do you think that they would take at number 6 if they can't move out?
If they can't move out, I do think that it will come down for them to perhaps either the best tackle or the best receiver. And when I look at Andrew Berry's track record and his history, I can see the wisdom in mocking Spencer Fano to him there, which everybody and their brother is doing right now. So I can see that. I can see him doing that. He calls himself an offensive line snob, and we know that he loves to stock the trenches. So I could definitely see him doing that. It will come down to possibly the best tackle or the best receiver, and they just have to decide which way they want to go. I personally would go with probably the best receiver there just because I feel like they need to score points. I feel like they need some sizzle on offense. I feel like they need weapons. I've been saying for months that they need 2 good pass catchers in this draft or in this cycle somehow, some way, and that can be a tight end and a wide receiver. That can be 2 wide receivers, but I would probably go with the best offensive weapon that I could find there at number 6 if I'm staying right there. And if it came down to Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson, for me, the only thing that scares me about Tyson a little bit is the injury history. But other than that, I really, really love his game. So I would probably go with him there.
Forgive me for asking this, but I have to. I can't help myself. Now, I do a lot of driving around, so sometimes I'm only paying half attention. He is quoted as calling himself an offensive line snob?
Yes.
Can a guy who's known for taking Jed Wills over Tristan Wirfs call himself an offensive line snob?
Well, it's a good point. They thought they were taking the best tackle in that draft, and it just didn't work out that way. And Tristan Wirfs is someone that has been able to make that transition from right tackle to left tackle. That was unfortunate. That was really unfortunate. I had talked to Kirk Ferentz about Tristan Wirfs before that draft, and he just raved and raved and raved about him as a can't-miss prospect. So that was That was a miss, unfortunately for them. But there are plenty of really good ones in this draft, and they will come away with one.
We're talking to Mary Kay Cabot right now, plaindealercleveland.com. What does Andrew Berry's history lead you to believe about, the likelihood that they stay at 6, that they stay at 24, that, given this board, whether they would want to go best player available or go for needs? I mean, we've had now 6 of these drafts from Andrew Berry, and you've analyzed them as closely as anyone, Mary Kay.
Well, he loves to wheel and deal, and he loves to maximize the pick. And if he can get out of the top 10, unless there's a quarterback or an edge rusher there that he really loves, I think that's what he seeks to do. So if he can maximize that number 6 asset and turn it into something for next year that might help them get a quarterback in the event that they need one, I think that he will try to do it. But once again, it has to be, the returns have to be good. The return on investment has to be really good. You've got to be getting at least a second-round pick. Maybe somehow, some way you can get a first out of somebody, depending on how teams are viewing the top 5 or top 6 in this draft. So I do think that he will try to trade down. I think he's going for maximum impact, maximum sustainable impact at these higher spots. So I do think he'll try to trade down. And if he stays there, once again, I think he'll take probably the best. I would say he would probably go with the best tackle at that point.
All right, so we've had all this time from your controversial remarks about, at least in some circles, when it came to taking another quarterback in this draft and Ty Simpson. As of today, 8:30 a.m. on draft day for the first round, do you have any kind of intel or any gut feeling on how Ty Simpson could factor into this weekend's draft?
Well, I don't think that they would take him at number 6. I know they wouldn't take him at number 6. As I had mentioned on your air a long time ago, that I would be interested in him there. But, of course, the wrath of social media came down upon me for that. And we'll see how it turns out in the end. But I think they would consider him at 24 or 39. I don't think he's going to get there. I think he probably will go somewhere in the first round, maybe to the Steelers at 21. So I just don't think he's going to end up here. I do, however, think that they will very strongly consider another one of the quarterbacks. And, I don't know if that's Nussmeier or Aller or even maybe a Taylon Green, but I do think that they will probably end up with another quarterback.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the show. Are there any players, I know I've asked you this question a couple weeks ago, I got to ask it again. Are there any players that are currently on the Browns that we should watch that could possibly go in a trade? I remember like last year, really over the last couple of years, it seemed like Greg Newsome was always rumored by somebody out there. Is there anybody who it's like, well, you got to keep an eye on them, maybe circle them on the depth chart?
Right now, no. Things can change, but I don't think they are going into the draft necessarily seeking to trade one of their bigger name players. Now, they could always trade, rotational player or something like that, but I don't think that they're going into it seeking to trade a Denzel or a Miles or all these people that have been rumored to possibly be traded. Again, crazy things happen when you're on the clock. Teams make offers that you can't refuse. They didn't really think that they were going to be making that Greg Newsome Tyson Campbell trade until it was presented to them and they were ecstatic about it. So anything can happen, but I don't think they are looking to do that. I don't think they are the ones making the calls trying to move those guys.
When it comes to Todd Monken, that throws a new wrinkle into this year's draft. Kevin, after 6 years, whatever chemistry they might have had when it came to the war room, we had heard over the years guys that he might have liked, guys that maybe he was not necessarily in lockstep. How do you think that'll factor in with somebody with all the experience of Todd Monken, but only his first year as head coach?
Well, he'll have a say, but as I've been saying before, most of his input has already been taken into consideration. These are things that happen when you're setting up the draft board or when you're having your draft meetings. These aren't necessarily things that happen when you're on the clock. Those final calls will be Andrew Berry. So, Todd's not going to step in there necessarily and break a tie. I mean, he will be involved, but this is Andrew Berry's Super Bowl right now. So, he's told him what he needs at each position, and Andrew has a really good handle on what this coaching staff is looking for. But I don't necessarily think that, Todd will be the one making any of these picks.
What are they doing at 24?
All depends, of course, on what happens with their first pick. 24 is another spot where you can look for trade opportunities. That's also a spot where you could even look for trading for a veteran player if you see something out there that you really like. So tons and tons of options at number 24. If they end up going with Spencer Fano or a tackle with their first pick, then I really think you do look at taking a receiver at 24, not because you need one, but because your need and the strengths of the draft line up there. So I think you can look at a Denzel Boston there, and you can look at maybe an Amari Cooper there, or an Omar Cooper there, or maybe you look at a KC Concepcion if you feel that, all the intangibles are good there as well. So many different options at number 24 right now.
Mary Kay, I happen to subscribe to the Peter Schrager thought that the 5 wide receivers who can go first round, they might be gone by 24. That kind of led me to believe that maybe they would go Carnell Tate at number 6. Maybe they do take Spencer Fano at number 6. Could they possibly move up from 24 then to take one of those wide receivers?
It's possible. Anything's going to be possible with any of these picks, except for I really don't see them trading up from number 6. Now, I suppose there is a world in which you only had to move up 1 spot or 2 spots or something like that, and you really have somebody there that you have to have. I don't see that happening, but I could see them possibly trading up from 24, trading back from 24, trading for a veteran with 24. They will be fluid and flexible going in, and they will look for opportunities. They will be opportunistic during this draft. And we know that about Andrew. That's one thing we absolutely know about him, is that he loves to make deals, and he's going to be working those phones, and he's not just going to sit back and let the draft happen. He will be aggressive, and he will look for things to add to this football team in a big way.
Mary Kay, after listening to Shedeur Sanders this week, have you decided to change your style of reportage? Are you now pivoting and going to be more positive and reflect the energy that we were seeing out of Shedeur and Todd Monken?
Absolutely, 100%. I needed to hear it, and I'm kidding.
I was going to say, I didn't think you were I didn't think you were negative.
It's funny because I just think that we are such a fair media in Cleveland. You guys know what media elsewhere can be like. Sometimes I want to just let these guys go spend a week in Philadelphia or maybe New York, and then they'll see what a really tough media is all about. I think we're very, very fair here in Cleveland, and I think we have been from day one with Shedeur. And I don't really even know exactly what he's talking about, but I don't think that I don't think we need to change how we're doing our jobs.
I know C.J. Gardner-Johnson was going after Philadelphia media yesterday. They do have I know John, who's from our new producer, who's from Philadelphia, is like, I can't believe you guys are so nice here. And we're going, what? He goes, oh gosh, it's so nice here in Cleveland. I do think it might be a little jarring for a lot of guys. I mean, these guys come from really good programs, really successful programs where it's never that, but usually it's not that bad. And then they come here and it's like, yeah, you got to prove it. And there's a lot of history there that says you might not be able to. So that might be a little bit of a surprise to them. Mary Kay, I would love to ask you the leader in the clubhouse for quarterback right now, but it might be a little bit too early. Is it?
Yeah, it's too early. It's definitely too early. We have to let this thing play out. The key thing here is that Todd Monken would like to have a really good handle on who his QB1 is coming out of these spring practices. So every single thing that they do is being scrutinized. And it's, how they treat their teammates. It's media, what they do on the field, what they do in the classroom. So they really need to make sure that every single thing that they're doing says starting NFL quarterback, character, you name it. So we'll see how it goes. I thought that Deshaun looked a little bit more polished, a little bit better in the first practice. But when you're a 3-time Pro Bowler and you have that type of athleticism, those guys just look different when they're out there practicing. They just do. The ball comes out a little differently. The footwork looks a little different. So on day one, I thought he kind of had the slight edge, but it's very, very early.
All right, Mary Kay, I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but I have to ask, I know it's a different team, but Mike Vrabel not going to be there on Saturday. How important is it that a head coach is there for every day of the draft?
Well, I think the most important days, of course, are the first couple of days. And even on the third day of the draft, we don't really necessarily hear from Todd Monken when it's all over. Or I can't remember if we always hear from the coach. Well, anyways, whatever they're doing over there, they're doing what they need to do for their organization, and he's doing what he needs to do for his family and for his personal life. So however they want to work through that, that's absolutely, of course, fine with me.
Outstanding as always, Mary Kay. We thank you very much for the time. We'll talk to you again next week. All the very best to you and yours, and I'll talk to you tonight over in Berea. No, wait, you're probably in Pittsburgh. Which one are you? You in Berea or Pittsburgh today?
I am in Berea.
All right. Well, we're going to look like the number 10 next to each other. Mary Kay, thank you so much.
I'll see you later. Take care.
Goodbye. Mary Kay Cabot on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. All right, Joe Vardon, he's going to join us at 9 o'clock. We got to get ready for Game 3 against Toronto. You just heard what she just said about the quarterbacks, the situation, and at number 24 overall. And, I didn't mean to take a shot at Andrew there, but I had to say what everybody else was thinking about that quote, right? We'll get it for everybody coming up in 5 on The Fan.
immediately after every playoff game. Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
He calls himself an offensive line snob, and we know that he loves to stock the trenches.
Can a guy who's known for taking Jed Wills over Tristan Wirfs call himself an offensive line snob? I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Andrew's a good man and thorough. However, let me throw it by you like this, because there were a lot of responses to that on social media. Okay? Had to do it because he's well known. Tristan Wirfs out there. Tristan Wirfs may be a Hall of Famer by the time it's all said and done. Famously switched from right to left. And he took Jed Wills. Famously tried to switch from right to left. Let me throw this to you here, okay? Just let me throw it to you. Can't we all learn from our mistakes? Can't we learn from our mistakes? Can't I turn the mics on?
You got to tell me what the mistakes are.
Well, you made a mistake with Jed Wills. Clearly, it was a mistake. Let's call it what it is. I mean, it was okay for a year, and then it just went to hell. Call it what it is. It was a mistake. It's okay. It's all right. We all make mistakes.
Drafting him was a mistake, or expecting him to have to...
Drafting him was a mistake.
Okay. Well,
because I think you could have put him over at right tackle, and we probably still would have got the same results.
That's what I'm wondering.
Over 5 years. That's what I'm pointing out. So drafting him was a mistake. You can learn from your mistakes, can't you? Now, I don't want to just go too far, because that's what I think this organization is famous for it, or they should, if they're not known for it, they should be more famous, is that they make mistakes and then they try to learn from them and they just overcorrect them. Like when you go from thinking men and analytics to John, who is not going to respect analytics, and then you go from John back to the way things have gone, that's an overcorrection. You go from Hugh to Freddie to Kevin to Todd, like that might end up being an overcorrection. Hopefully Todd's the best of both worlds and can see it all. We'll see. But I think that we can learn from mistakes. Can Andrew learn from mistakes? And his last draft was really good.
Well, you have to.
So I'm hoping, right?
You have to explain to me why. A couple of questions here. Why? And maybe this gets nitty gritty on a draft day. Maybe we don't want to do that. I don't know.
No, today's a day that you can get nitty gritty. It's draft day.
That why in the world of the NFL still, especially with college players changing teams all the time, changing coaches all the time, how are they that specialized on either the left side or the right side that when they come into the NFL, it's some big negative if you're on one side and they need the other side, and why you can't be versatile?
I've explained that to you before.
But why are they not more versatile in college? Why would you why would you pigeonhole yourself as a guy that can only be on one side, and then it impacts like whether or not you can even be drafted by a team based on their need?
Is it harder to walk forwards or walk backwards?
I'm pretty adept at walking forward.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you were going to be weird about it and just not answer the question. That's why I slammed the table. You guys got to watch us on YouTube. It's so much easier to see our reactions to each other, especially our faces we make when we're trying to hide our faces and play poker when we get answers we're not expecting in interviews. It's easier to go forwards than backwards. It's hard to go backwards, and it's really hard to go backwards and try to make sure that nobody attacks somebody behind you while you have great athletes on the other side who run track speed trying to get by you. It's very difficult to do it. And so when you learn how to do it one way, when you're set up as a right tackle and you've set your feet in and you've learned how to do it one way, it's hard to switch those feet around, because it's not just, there's such a thing called a heel clicker. It's where you bring your feet too far in. So if you bring that front foot too far in and your heels are touching the toe of your heel, all of a sudden you're off balance. And if I'm with you, I can push you over. Or I get you off balance and then you can't stay ahead of me. You got to be able to keep a base, move, keep your hands.
Jordan Reed
going right ahead.
4x1 individual ISO slant.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
I was like, all right, his headphones are on. I see them that they're on.
You have your base, you have your foot locked in, and you're able to move, right? You're just, boom, one after another, okay? And you got to keep your hands and everything ahead of you. You got to keep your eyes ahead of you. And guys get used to doing it over time because you train and train and train to do it one way. So if I'm a left tackle, and I got a guy lined up right over my outside shoulder, or I got a guy in a wide 9 out here, and I've studied him on tape, and I know his techniques, and I understand where he's going to go because I've learned tape and how guys do it on one side or the other. So I'm a little bit more adept to being able to find somebody and being able to move, and then finding my point in the middle of his chest, or as Joe Thomas was known for, he would do it because guys would try to meet the middle of his chest, and he would just take their hands away from him, and he was able to do it. It's hard to go from one side or the other.
But why is it that if, let's say, you've been a left tackle your whole life, then all of a sudden your team, your organization decides, hey, we're going to go with a left-handed quarterback next year? We don't just change the left tackle to right tackle.
This is what's changing it. Is that our linebackers better athletes than they used to be?
Yeah.
Okay, so our cornerbacks, and certainly quarterbacks are much better athletes overall than they used to be. Linemen are better athletes. Before, there were guys where you had to keep their weight down. Weigh-ins every day. Nate Newton, the famous weigh-ins every single day. You better lose this weight, this, that, and the other. Now you're trying to keep guys with their weight on. You're trying to bulk them up. So if you have better athletes playing across the offensive line, they may be more coordinated, so it could be easier over time to move from right to move to left.
Oh, so gritty.
Okay? So it might be easier. But that means over time. So we're going through it with quarterbacks right now where we don't necessarily know everything we're looking at because quarterback is going through an evolution. Offensive line goes through an evolution. So maybe in 2030, we're right there. Where quarterbacks, you got to have some wheels on you. You got to be able to escape left and right. You got to be able to move. It might be the very same way. I'm trying to stay on the cutting edge of all of this, but not overthinking it. Because I don't want to get caught in the past and go, well, you can only do this with this and this, because then you end up like Bill Polian someday.
That's a little too gritty.
You don't want to do that.
No. I thought it was just the right amount of gritty.
Yeah.
Give me more grit.
Guys, you sign up for NFL Plus. I'll do an unpaid testimonial here. They got the film session right there with Joe and Brian Baldinger. Do yourself a freaking service and watch the thing. Joe knows what he's talking about. Thank you. Is that okay?
And yet, here's what Andrew Berry said.
Tackles are tackles. You're looking for certain characteristics because they've all got to be able to protect on an edge. Top rushers are not staying on one side of the ball, so we really do analyze it, within the aggregate position.
So I'm glad you did all that, Ken. Andrew Berry.
Just for Andrew to say, they're interchangeable.
But then he said he's an offensive line snob. And
Mary
I go,
Kay said he said that.
Well, but she said, okay, but I take it from her as a reporter that he said he's an offensive line snob. Which then again, you sit there and you make fun of me because I drink Colonial Club. I drink Canadian Club, and you guys drink. What was the $60 bottle of whiskey you're drinking?
All of them.
Congratulations on all your success.
So my local liquor store will get brand new deliveries on Tuesday, and then they'll hide some, and they'll say, Lima, we've got this in the back.
That's
Do you want
every
it?
local liquor store.
My bottle of whiskey.
I go to Marty's myself.
My Canadian Club, the Youngstown Special, $11.99 a bottle. Which one was able to break down the offensive line? Which one was able to just break it down with common sense? That guy or this guy? You don't need to be a snob to know how to take a good player. Boom. Coming up in 5 minutes, Joe Varden. Game 3, a pivotal matchup as the Cavaliers begin their quest to close out the Toronto Raptors. Coming up on The Fan.
going tonight. Going to have it for you live. Coverage by the Browns Radio Network begins at 8 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
You know who's having a hell of a series so far? Evan Mobley. You know what jersey you might like to win? An Evan Mobley autographed jersey. You can win one courtesy of our good friends at Window Nation, where you can save up to 50% off new windows, Pally. Plus, you can get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. Sale ends soon. Visit windownation.com right now. That's right, the sheriff is in town. Of course, up in Canada, you might try to call him a Mountie. However, sheriffs beat Mounties. The word is gold. G-O-L-D, gold. Enter that word gold by the end of this hour at 923thefan.com to get registered to win. That word again is gold. G-O-L-D, gold. You have your chance to win an autographed Evan Mobley jersey. Let's go to the Make It Right Call Kyle Right hotline. We'll get back to the draft coming up in 20 minutes. You can bet your ass on that. But let's welcome in Joe Varden, who joins us right now, senior NBA writer for The Athletic. We got Game 3 of the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs tonight. The Cavaliers taking on the Toronto Raptors. Joe, how the hell are you?
You know, this is my first time in Toronto since the 2019 finals. And it's just so crazy. I've had this a couple times in my career where you go to a city and you're there all the time for weeks at a time. I mean, all the times that the Cavs played the Raptors, you know, all those previous playoff series, there was an all-star game here. And then, you know, my first or second year as a national reporter, there was the Raptors and Warriors. And so then to just go away from one of the great cities in our league and really in the world for almost 7 years and then to come back is weird. So I'm in a nostalgic place and a good place, ready to go for Game 3 tonight. And it's always, it's an awkward time to be covering the Cavs. And this always happens when they're good because you get to this week, right, where the whole town kind of tunes out. Because there's an NFL draft. So I'm hoping that everybody can kind of walk and chew gum at the same time with those two picks on the board and then also Cavs and Raptors, but we'll see.
You're in Toronto. Have you seen the 25-foot ice installation from the rapper and vocalist Drake? Have you seen it? Were you part of that photo op yet, Joe Varden?
No, I have not seen it. I'm wondering if he'll be is he still a Raptors guy?
I don't know.
He was such a there was one of the years, all the writers, we went to Drake's restaurant and it was terrible. It was so bad. And the next morning we at shoot around, we told LeBron, you know, cause he and Drake were pals at the time. Like, hey, man, your buddy Drake, his restaurant stinks. And, he and Richard Jefferson were, doubled over in laughter over this. But, no, I have not seen the sculpture yet.
Ninth album coming out soon. Look forward to your review. Joe Varden with us right now. So I find it very interesting that this series doesn't seem to be that interesting to the rest of the NBA. It's the least talked about. Everybody just assumes the Cavs are going to go about their business and dispense of the Raptors in 4 or 5 games. But I got to tell you, the Raptors did a lot of things to make life difficult on the Cavs offense, but bailing them out was just superstar play. Donovan Mitchell hitting incredible shots, James Harden hitting incredible circus shots. The two of them were able to do it, and they really didn't get a lot out of their supporting cast outside of Evan Mobley. Can they get away with that again tonight on the road?
Well, Lima, those are all really good points. And then there's you throw in that cliche about role players typically playing worse on the road. So I think this is maybe the last pressure point that's available to the Raptors in this series. I think, the Raptors did do a lot of stuff that was better in Game 2. They were quicker. They were actually better on the glass than Cleveland in Game 2. The Raptors were able to get back out in transition, which they were not able to do in Game 1. And, they lose by 10 on a night where Brandon Ingram goes, 3 of 15, scores 7 points, and 3 of those were on a very meaningless 3 at the end of the game. So you could say, hey, if the Raptors' best player just plays anywhere near average, they've got a great chance to win Game 3. But I'm not so sure that's true because, to your point, the Raptors did apply a lot of pressure and press on those pressure points, and the Cavs had too much to allow that kind of thing to stop them. We were talking at dinner last night that this may be a series where, if the Raptors are going to get a couple games, that the Cavs would have to help them. Just like have a collectively bad night shooting, or maybe turn it over an outrageous amount. I just think, if you're Toronto and you're trying to get back in the series, the first thing is Brandon Ingram cannot do this. And, I wrote after Game 2 that Dean Wade has a lot to do with what's going on with Ingram's poor performance so far, but that cannot last. And then I just wonder, do you try to do to Dean what past teams had done to Isaac Okoro, like leave him wide open and see if he can shoot his way off the court? Like if he goes 0 for 6 and the Raptors are up 10, like does that force the Cavs to make a move there? I don't know if you can do that to this team because James Harden has been so good, So there's a couple options left on Toronto's side, but the options are dwindling, we'll say.
Joe Varden joining us from The Athletic on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. Cavs, Raptors Game 3 tonight in the Great White North. Are we finally starting to see the type of player Evan Mobley can be with James Harden now with him as a teammate?
And I mean, okay, so the short answer is yes or maybe, whatever. But this has been talked about for a couple of days, and I like it because it's not about Evan reaching his potential. Like he may have already done that. This may be who he is. The Cavs, and I don't fault them for trying this, but they were in a position in October. They asked him to do more. They wanted him to do more, and they were almost like, we all know, we've been talking about this for years, like Evan has consistently been compared to a Kevin Garnett. And they'd also wondered if he could be a Jason Tatum, somebody who can initiate offense and be a scorer with the ball in his hands. And he tried to make himself into a three-point shooter last year with varying degrees of success. It's not like he was a failure doing that. Like he added that shot to his repertoire last year. But what they were trying to do this year was a step too far. And I feel like the pressure of that ask was a little too much. And that's like Evan kind of struggled this year. And now with James there next to Donovan and sort of everybody else is healthy and the way that everybody's kind of playing, Evan can do what he does best, and he has just looked awesome doing it. His demeanor is different. He's dressing better, which like somebody might laugh at that, but I feel like that speaks to his mindset and a certain like confidence level that I think is elevated. And he is like, rather than worrying about Evan shooting threes or spacing the floor or pushing the ball or, all that stuff, he is focused on the defensive end. He's catching it on the block. He's catching lobs. He's a screener, and it's just been incredible. Like what a fantastic third option.
Look good, feel good, play good. Varden, when you were a
Was he dressed like a slob or something before? I never noticed.
I just remember Joe as a lowly State House reporter, how he dressed. And then when he was covering the covering the Cavs and LeBron James, and everything changed. It was like night and day.
I wore suits every day in Columbus.
All right, Joe.
Unless I was on the come on.
Yeah, keeping up with those heavy hitters down there at the Columbus legislature. So, all right, Joe Varden with us right now from The Athletic. So it's interesting. I quote tweeted and referenced a piece that you guys had after the trade deadline, after the Harden trade, where Kenny Atkinson and the organization, they basically let everybody know internally they weren't going to make excuses anymore for injuries. And then they traded for James Harden, somebody very reliable, at least in terms of actually showing up and being able to play in games. Harden since then fractured a finger. You haven't heard anything about it. He's played through it, opted not to have surgery. So I think that's kind of what they were talking about. And I'm wondering from your pals, the national media brethren who go after Harden for his epic playoff choke jobs, the Frank Isolas of the world, right? The Zach Lowe's, the Ryan Russillos, the Bill Simmons. Are you hearing from anybody that, hey, actually this evolved version of James Harden and playing with Donovan Mitchell, that maybe he's a little bit different of a player right now? Is anybody willing to concede it?
Well, to your original point, nobody's talking about this series. So no, I have not heard that. I have not heard that. However,
we've got people here on the station who are still very stubborn about that, so that does not surprise me.
Yeah, but look, I mean, I love this topic. I covered those Heat Philadelphia series where James was just so bad towards the end of those series.
He had two 40-point games in that series. He was carrying that team.
He was garbage, and you know it.
You know, come on. You know what happened at the end.
It's okay.
So
just because he plays for the Cavs now, you could admit garbage is garbage.
But he is...
Point to me Darius Garland's 40-point games in the playoffs.
We're not comparing him to Darius Garland.
I'll be waiting, Ken. That's right. Joe, I'll be waiting all day.
You sit there and you make fun of everybody else on the station for not knowing ball. How about you figure it out yourself instead of getting into the $60 bottles of hooch every single night? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
This is pretty good. So I remember that stuff too. But he does look fantastic right now. And Donovan could be the perfect complement to him at this stage of his career. And having Evan out there, a healthy Evan, that's a lot different than playing with a banged-up Joel Embiid. It just is. And so I think the options around James are better than they've been in a while. And then to Lima's other point about the injuries, my goodness, like what an attitude change on this whole team. And I think I can't remember when this was. It was very recent. Maybe it was at practice last week. I said to James, like, hey, 8 weeks ago you broke your thumb and we haven't heard word one about it since. How you feeling? And he looked at me with like half deadpan, like almost like disdain, and was like, yeah, I don't even know how you guys found out about that. And that was all he said. And then laughed. So like, what a departure from just the way things used to be here. And I still find myself holding my breath every time one of these guys goes down. Like, are they going to get back up? Just because that's what we have seen over and over again at this time of year. And so if James does nothing else other than reset the culture of like what you play through, like one of the games, I think it was game one, I think he got karate chopped in the throat by Shed. And like James didn't even go down, just kind of like, shook it off and kept playing. That's just, we're just not used to that. And so to see that be the version of the Cavs in the playoffs is heartening for sure.
Joe, I was going to ask a patent one of those one-name questions, but I think I got to lead you there a little bit. Was there there was sincere? I saw the snippet from your article. There was sincere heat on Kenny Atkinson and maybe even Kobe Altman midway through the year. Was there not?
Oh, I think so. I think so. I mean, yeah, I certainly think that's true.
Has that all cooled, or are we going to sit here and have these conversations again, say if they go against Boston and things don't go very well in the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston? Because they look like a completely different basketball team now that the playoffs have started, and I think that they can maybe take Boston to the limit. I'm not sure if they could get the job done, but I want cooler heads to prevail. This is a good basketball team, and no matter what happens this offseason or this postseason, I'd like some time to gel during the offseason and get going for at least one more run next year.
Yeah, I think in your scenario, when you're talking about Boston, that's a conference finals. And so that is that's a step further than this group has ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that's a win, and you set yourself up for a run next year with a little bit of tinkering. But anything short of that, you're talking about the most expensive roster in the NBA. You need to get further than the second round to keep paying that. And so, I just said, I've said this a couple times, that short of getting to a conference final, there will be major changes. Now, what does that mean? That could be on the coaching staff, that could be in the front office, or it could just be in the roster. That you could just decide like, hey, we can't set up the roster and pay this kind of money for these results. So let's try something else personnel-wise. I think all that stuff is on the table. But there's no reason to really like go there now because things are great. They're up 2-0. They look awesome. They're healthy. They're playing together. Like Kenny's rotations are tight. They're defending, which I'm like a little surprised by. Like we talk all the time about, can you flip a switch?
What do you mean you're surprised? They got all their best defensive players back. Varden, come on.
I agree with Joe.
Oh, please.
Go to hell, Lima.
So average.
Too busy texting with his buddy Larry Householder that he can't watch the games.
Sorry, Joe.
Yes or no, Joe? Does Larry Householder look like Freddie Kitchens walking to court?
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome to the no spin zone,
We gotta
buddy.
go, Joe. We're out of time.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, guys. Talk to you.
Joe Martin from The Athletic on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. You're an insane person. I got to text Joe now. At least he was laughing at the end of the interview. I don't care about Andrew. I care about you, the listener. In 5 minutes on The Fan.
to Donovan and everybody else is healthy and the way that everybody's kind of playing, Evan can do what he does best, and he has just looked awesome doing it. His demeanor is different. He's dressing better, which, like, somebody might laugh at that. I feel like that speaks to his mindset and a certain, like, confidence level that I think is elevated. Rather than worrying about Evan shooting threes or spacing the floor or pushing the ball, he is focused on the defensive end. He's catching it on the block. He's catching lobs. You know, he's a screener, and it's just been incredible. Like, what a fantastic third option.
It's Joe Vardon, baby. Hear all the interview of 923thefan.com, as well as hear that entire interview, blah, 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 blah. On the free rewind feature, on the free Odyssey app, powered by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. We talk basketball, we talk politics with Joe Vardon right there at the very end. Well, actually, yeah.
That's very fitting. Yeah. Well done. For once, someone didn't get away with something.
You wanted to ask me, whoa, put the safety back on. Coming in hot's tomorrow.
Hey, I'm seeing a lot of people comment, and there's no way to shake this. Like,
are they listening and commenting, or are they just responding to your tweets?
Both. No, James Harden.
What?
Whenever his name gets brought up, who will go down in history, especially the last 30 to 40 years, he is going down as one of the greats to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have all the accounting numbers.
Uh-huh.
And to go to 17 straight playoffs, I mean, that just doesn't happen. LeBron James is like the exception, right?
Yeah.
He does all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then after that, like, it's crazy how durable Harden's been. It's crazy how brilliant a passer, how brilliant a scorer.
So what's the stipulation?
The handle and all of that, and how many games he's won.
Okay.
The guy has won so many games, but he's had the most epic of flameouts in game 6s or game 7s of series when
what are
he
people
was
saying
when he was the best or second best player on those teams. And everybody said, what does it matter? They're just going to lose because he's going to do that in the final game. And I'm like, well, the whole point of him at this stage of his career is he's not supposed to be a guy that you depend on. He's not going to just dribble the ball for quarters at a time and monopolize the ball. Like, haven't you guys noticed this isn't the same Harden? How is anybody not, unless you're just not watching, how have you not seen
They're not watching.
that this is...
If they're saying it's the same old Harden, they're not watching.
When I say this is an evolved version, and we'll get to the draft here in a little bit.
We're going to get to the draft here in one moment.
When I talk about him being an evolved version,
game tonight.
the Harden that all of us hated, that we despised watching, that it was a chore, even though we all admitted how good he was heliocentric Harden, dribble the ball on the wing, nonstop for 20 seconds, try to bait you into a foul.
Eugenio Suarez. I'm sorry when you said heliocentric. I'm sorry.
Flail away and throw the ball up, and yes, he'd make a lot of threes. But that was not a reliable way to play hoops in the postseason when they allow you to hand check, when they allow you to be more physical, and they swallow the whistle. But the Harden that we have seen ever since the trade is not that guy. In fact, his entire setup is to get the bigs involved and to take pressure off Donovan Mitchell.
Indeed. So what are they warning you on?
They're just telling me none of this matters. He's just going to be terrible in the final game of the year. What
do you mean final game of the year?
Which to that I will say,
well, if they're kicking if they're beating the brakes off of all these other teams, they ain't gonna get to a game 7. So I don't got to worry about it.
Eventually, yes, against Boston, if they play them in like the Eastern Conference Finals, everyone's going to pick Boston. And Boston will have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And Harden.
Well, I got no problem with saying
Harden has been better than Jason Tatum over the last 2 months.
Oh, well, okay, that's over the last 2 months.
And
but Jason Tatum's coming back from a serious injury here.
Is that not a reality?
It is a reality. You're right. But, guys, we got to be honest with each other about certain things here. And what's the honest? Honest is he's no longer the number one on a basketball team. Donovan's your number one, okay? So before, I thought it, and I think that this is what goes along with Evan Mobley, is before I thought there was a lot of pressure for Evan Mobley, and I think he knew that this year, going into this year, that he had to rise up and be the number one for this team for them to go anywhere. He is not capable of doing that, and maybe he isn't, or not capable of doing that right now, and maybe he's never going to be capable of doing that. Maybe I have to accept the truth. But with James Harden there, it's made him more better. But Harden's not the number one. Donovan's the number one. So you're right as anybody could be. You can't talk about him in the same way that we've talked about him in the past. If you get to a Game 7 and it's all James Harden, that's a problem. But let's be honest with it as well. If you get to a Game 7 against Boston, I got no problem seeing in 20 years that we look back and say Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were the better basketball players than Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Facts can just be facts, guys. So it's not about them sucking up the room. I mean, if you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. But it's not about them or James Harden sucking. It's about these guys being better basketball players. They are. They could end up being better, more talented basketball players. What you're hoping is that overall your team can now, with James Harden and with the guys healthy, find ways to get to Boston that they can't defend. And I know I'm going way ahead of myself. We're getting ready for Game 3 at Toronto. I'm just saying what everybody, if you're telling me what everybody is saying, I'm just trying to knock down those arguments. I got to worry about tonight, and I think tonight's, I got a weird feeling about tonight. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough crowd. I think this is Custer's last stand. They lose tonight. Toronto does. I think that the rest of this series is a non-factor. I think it's over. And I know that's not really saying much. You're up 3-0, but I don't think it's a competitive game after that.
Got to be careful. Obviously, JB was the coach when this happened, but remember when they took care of the Orlando Magic in those first 2 games, and in Game 3, they got obliterated, and it changed the whole series. So you can't have that happen tonight. I mean, if that happens, they lost by 30 tonight, like that team, and the whole point is we're supposed to be a little mentally tougher.
Yeah.
You know, you're older now. You have somebody like Harden who's been through the playoff wars, and as I've said repeatedly, go look it up. He's had monstrous series. He's had monstrous playoff games. So on the road, that's where the superstars tend to have those silencer games where they suck the hope out of an entire team, an entire fan base. We'll see if that's tight. I also like to see like the role players outside of Max Strus had the good game 1, but Keon Ellis has to get going here. Sam Merrill has to get going here. You're going to need more guys. You can't just beat them every game with just your 3 best players.
So, who are you taking at 6 and 24? I don't care about Andrew Barry. I care about you. 216-474-0092. And I'll simplify. Who you guys want at 6? I'm taking Carnell Tate at 6. If you think it's stupid, fine. 216-474-0092. It would speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't care. I'm not trying to do it this way.
Have you come across a lot of people that thought Tate was stupid?
Because of my reasoning for Tate, I think that they didn't like it. And I think that we're doing a lot of paralysis by analysis. Like, I've had a couple of people, like I said last night, I put it out there on social media, and I knew I was going to talk about it today on the air, but I put it out there on social media where I'm going, guys, 4-5-2 doesn't bother me. I think it bothers you guys because maybe some of you, not all of you, obviously, because you're afraid to take guys who are wide receivers. You're really afraid of Andrew Barry picking weapons. I think that's part of what it is. You don't fully trust Andrew Barry again. And frankly, I don't fully trust Andrew Barry again. 1 draft over 6 drafts ain't going to make me fully trust one guy. Last year he was great. Let's see what he does this year. But I think that we're so afraid of this draft and so afraid of finding landmines in this draft that we're starting to talk down guys who I think are good, solid picks. Carnell Tate at number 6 is a solid pick. And when we talk, he's a little bit slow. I'm just pointing out, I've talked football with thousands of people on air and in person over the last 14 years of this station and nearly 19 years now doing radio. All right? Ain't no one said pregame, during the game, or postgame complained about a guy's speed. They can say a guy, and you can't give me separation. Separation is different from speed. Go ask some of the great tight ends who have ever played the game and had to be covered by safeties and corners as pass catchers. Some are fast. You can be fast. You still got to have separation, and that means you got to know what the hell you're doing. If he's running the right routes, if he can go up and get the ball, and he can do all those things, and he can do it as good as anybody in the draft at number 6, and you can argue that he does it better, and I can, then I think I'm taking him at number 6, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm just not going to be sitting here worried about a 4-5-2 as opposed to a 4-3-7, because I'm pretty sure 4-3-7 is what Corey Coleman ran. Who would you rather have right now? Now, I know one guy has the benefit of being new, and that's Carnell Tate. Anthony Schwartz, fastest guy I think to ever play in a Browns uniform. And because he alligator armed a pass, we're sitting over here arguing between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, and I'm making strong arguments for Shedeur over Deshaun Watson. I need a guy who can catch. And I got, well, Kenny, he's not Marvin Harrison Jr. Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. has the Maloik on him from a lot of fans, so I guess I'm not going to put that on him. I still think he's got a future. The Cardinals quarterback situation's a mess, but regardless, okay? He's not Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's not Emeka Ibuka. These guys, he's not Jeremiah Smith. I'm sorry, he's in the same draft as those guys? He's not in the same draft as those guys. He's in the same draft as Jordan Tyson. He's in the same draft as Casey Concepcion. He's in the same draft as et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's who he's in the same draft in. I'm not arguing to take him over Jeremiah Smith. I'm arguing to take him over Jordan Tyson. I'm arguing to take him over Mekhi Becton and Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion. That's who I'm arguing to take him over. So we gotta focus. It's this draft, not next year's draft. If you want to trade down, that's fine. You trade down, that's fine. But you can't tell me Carnell Tate sucks unless you just think that we should take Spencer Fano and be happy with it, which, okay, offensive line, that's fine. I just would like to move up from 24 if that were the way. 216-474-0092. I'll leave it to you guys. And the Munkins man roll tonight and through the rest of the weekend. And Lima, we have a congratulations to give to a friend of the show. I bet you don't realize who. You're about to find out in 5 on the Fan. You do know? You know who it is? Okay, I can't wait to tell everybody in 5 minutes. Friends, Ken Carman here for Northeast Factory Direct at NortheastFactoryDirect.com. I can't wait to tell you about savings. So let me get right down to it. 50% off the big box retail stores at Northeast Factory Direct at NortheastFactoryDirect.com. Go see Alex and his team at Northeast Factory Direct. What they have for your living room, your dining room, your bedroom. They got mattresses. They got outdoor furniture as well. Springtime is here. Finally, that weather's starting to turn a little bit. And you can enjoy that weather with brand new outdoor patio furniture. In fact, I got home last night from the TV station, and I get home, and I look out on the porch, and there's Ginny the doggy, my little doggy Ginny. And then there's my wife, and they're sitting on the brand new patio furniture from Northeast Factory Direct and NortheastFactoryDirect.com. And we saved a bundle. And so that was great. There was pizza sitting there. It was like coming home to a dream. Got to eat pizza because we saved money and got to eat pizza, and then I got to sit on the brand new patio furniture. And the patio furniture is able to support me while I eat that pizza. So that's another one for all you folks out there. So get on over to one of their 4 great locations. And if you have a doggy, then your doggy can sit on it. Or maybe you're not allowing your doggy to sit on it. It's your choice. It's your patio furniture. You can do whatever you want. 4 great locations and online first. NortheastFactoryDirect.com.
Brad Evans here to help you beat the books with Westwood One Sports. One attractive NFL draft market is on RBs drafted in round 1. Jeremiah Love is an obvious selection, but don't be shocked if his Notre Dame teammate Jadarian Price is plucked by Seattle at number 32 overall. The reigning champs need a Kenneth Walker replacement. Give me the over 1.5 round 1 RBs drafted at plus 115. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
K&K Heating and Cooling is looking for the next top picks to join the Ken Carman crew. They're giving away 9 exclusive spots and the maintenance membership program to ensure listeners are prepared for the upcoming season. Get registered to win now at 923thefan.com.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Now the Cavaliers continue their opening round playoff series. I'm going to be up in Toronto for Game 3. Cavs right now lead 2 games to none thanks to back-to-back wins at Rocket Arena. Also, the Cavs enter the contest with a 12-game postseason winning streak against Toronto dating back to the 2016 Eastern Conference Finals. NBA playoffs last time in the East, Detroit down to Orlando, 98-83. Cade Cunningham, double-double, 27 points, 11 assists. Pistons even up that series at 1 game apiece. In the Western Conference, Oklahoma City holding off Phoenix 120-107. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 37 points. Thunder leads that series 2 games to none. Browns closing out voluntary veterans minicamp today. The team also getting to work tonight. The NFL draft gets going in Pittsburgh. First round is this evening. For the moment, the Browns with picks 6 and 24. Guardians lose to the Astros 2-0. Tanner Bybee gives up a 2-run homer in the top of the first, and that'd be the only scoring in the game. Bybee taking the loss despite giving up just those 2 runs in 6 innings. NFL Draft gets going tonight. We'll have it for you live. Coverage via the Browns Radio Network begins at 8 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Mortgage rates have dropped, and the best news is they're expected to go down even more. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. If you've been thinking about buying a new home, now is the time. And with Third Federal's Buy Now, Refi Later program, you don't have to wait for rates to drop again. You get the guaranteed lowest rate now, and if rates drop later, even after you close, you can refinance to a lower rate for free. That's right, for free. And now with Third Federal's early rate lock, you can lock in the guaranteed lowest rate even before you find a house. So you'll always have the best rate. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today and lock in the guaranteed lowest rate.
Right now at Third Federal, lock in 5.99% APR 6.02% on a 30-year fixed rate purchase mortgage and refinance later if rates go down for free. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for buy now, refi later. Lowest rate guarantee and early rate lock at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Get 2 for under $200 at Ken Ginley Kia. Lease a 26 Kia K4, $99 a month. Or lease a 26 Sorrento, $99 a month. 24 months, K4 LXS, $36.28. Sorrento LX, $50.83 to a signing, 10K miles per year, no security deposit required. Get 2 for under $200. K4, $99 a month. Sorrento, $99 a month. Or 0%, 0 down. There is even more at Ken Ginley Kia, the home of the real 000. Buy a 26 Kia with 0 down, 0% for 5 full years, or 0 payments for 90 days. So what are you waiting for? Get 2 for under $200 at Ken Ginley Kia in Medina, Mentor, Alliance, and Boardman. Online at kenganleykia.com.
KMA rebates assigned to dealer. 26 Sorrento APR 1667 per 1,000 financed plus tax. Tag, title, and doc fee on approved. Credit through KMF expires 4/30/26.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Tonight, first-round Browns draft coverage on The Fan hosted by Ken Carman and Nathan Zagura. Hear from the Browns' first-round picks and the latest from Andrew Barry, Todd Monken, and more. It all starts at 8 p.m. right here on your radio home for Browns football.
The Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
What do you want to do at 6?
I think I'm with you on Carnell Tate.
All right, I brought him over.
But
wasn't a really tough sell.
It is interesting to see all the markets go away from this. What do they know, Kenny? What do they know?
Well, they might know that we just like Spencer Fano.
And then the Jordan Tyson thing, it seems, and again, we asked Ryan Wilson this earlier in the week, do you ever believe on, hey, he's shooting up the draft boards? He's like, no, all this work has been done. But is this that we're all late to catch up on it? Why all of a sudden is Jordan Tyson the guy now, the top receiver in this draft?
He's got a really great ceiling. Like I know we like to bust each other's stones all the time with Nick, but he's got a really great ceiling. I understand where Nick is on Jordan Tyson.
Well, they kept on saying that Giants were going defense with pick 5 and Jordan Tyson at pick 10. And now this morning I've seen like 5 mocks that say they're going Jordan Tyson at 5 and they're going to get Caleb Downs at 10. And I don't know how they're.
Well, that's something.
I don't know how people aren't trading up at that point to get Caleb Downs.
Also, before we go to these phones here, because I want to get to these people, congratulations in order to friend of the show. Winchester Public Schools in Virginia has a brand new elementary school principal for John Kerr Elementary School. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Pittsnoggle.
Come on!
Swear to God, they bumped him up. They gave him the bump. They opened the books. They opened the books. Kevin Pittsnoggle, West Virginia bygone legend.
One of the best ever.
I've heard all this back and forth, and I really just wanted to talk about the greatest early 2000s Big East big man, Kevin Pittsnoggle.
He was incredible.
One of the greatest Big East players of all time. He was on the Big East All-Rookie team.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin Pittsnoggle, I think, needs to be in this conversation. I think he needs to lead it, not just be in it.
Boy, that just muddies the conversation further now.
A Big East legend and now an education legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Pittsnoggle.
He played alongside Cavs GM Mike Gansey, who has been rumored to potentially go to Chicago for the Bulls' now vacant front office position.
I thought you were going to say he was going to be the AD at the school that Pittsnoggle.
He could go join Pittsnoggle. Get the band back together again.
I was going to make Mike Gansey Elementary School
make the head coach
principal somewhere around here.
Is that guy still coaching?
Huggy Bear?
Yeah. Oh, I got to see the documentary. Anthony in Cleveland. Anthony, hello.
What's up, guys? I want Downs at 6 and either the tight end from Oregon or Tate at 24.
Tate ain't going to be there at 24.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Neither is Kenyon
receiver.
Sadiq.
Unless we can plant a story. Do you think the Browns would be above planting a terrible story?
Well, but we don't care about weed no more, so he ain't doing no Laramie
Even
Tunsil
not a gas mask?
Right.
Nah, that's just ingenuity.
So you're right, Ken. Both of those guys, Kenyon Sadiq or Tate, probably won't be there at 24. Not even probably. But what I'm saying is I want Downs at 6, and then we can get a receiver at 24, and then or whoever's left, and then we can go after offensive linemen. That's my GM.
All right, Anthony. Thank you very much for the call, my friend. Steven Solon, you're next up on the Fan.
I would like Sonny Styles because he's a linebacker, and they had good luck last year, and they suck at wide receiver choices and line choices. Let's go with a linebacker. Let's build that defense.
All right, Steve, thank you very much for the call.
Sonny Styles' basketball highlight reels from high school. Pretty impressive.
Let's put him with DeWan.
Victor in North Royalton. What you got, Victor?
So last year I was in Andrew Barry's head. I called the trade down, called the Mason Graham pick.
Nice.
I got receipts. I tweeted him at Jake Volnick. You can check out his Twitter page. So listen.
We're feuding with Jake right now.
Yeah,
we don't talk.
Jake tried to egg my house and steal my wife, so I'm actually
he did
plotting
steal
all
my wife,
several
actually,
things about
and I think she's pregnant. Go ahead.
That's real beef. So listen, I will say we're going to go Sonny Styles unless Caleb Downs falls to us because he's got such versatility. He locks down that defense.
Wait, we're going to take Sonny Styles. Oh, so you're saying you have insider info? We're going to take Sonny Styles.
Correct.
All right, Victor. I'm not going to tell you I'll kiss your bare ass. Maybe you'll end up being right. I'm not going to guarantee that. Yeah. Thank you for the call.
Celebrate it on the Jake Show.
Celebrate it on Jake's show, and then tell him to give me my family back. Patrick in Hudson.
Give me back my son.
Congratulations on all your success. You're next up on the Fan.
Ransom.
Super Bowl!
Yeah, let's go!
Yeah.
Come on, it's draft day!
I love it, baby. It's my Super Bowl. Excited for today. Really hoping for, honestly, dude, just best offensive playmaker at 6 today. Over at 24, give me a tackle. And I'm hoping that the draft just shakes out well. I don't understand Sonny Styles at all for these other people. You already got Schlesinger. And that's the exact same position.
Oh, that's right. We do.
Patrick, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call.
Who am I to keep track of all of our needs?
Here you go. You take another?
You can take one real quick.
Mark and Wycliffe. Hello, Mark.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good morning. David Zaveda from Michigan.
All right, we're off and running now, boys.
Jam-packed sports night. Now the Guardians' day off, finally. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But we've got Cavs Game 3, and we've also got the draft tonight. The coverage right here on Sports Radio 923, The Fan.
Yeah. And we're
Getting
one of 31 teams that have our head coach for all 3 days of the draft.
All of them.
Well done. Well done, Browns.
Is there a way that the Browns draft so well that Todd, by the final day, is like, I'm good. You guys got this. You guys got this handled.
I don't think we know that right off the rip if they drafted so well. And I don't want the most popular draft. Can I just say a real hot take before we leave? I don't want the most popular draft by all the draft people out there. The Jets always have the most popular draft, and then they always have to trade those guys 3 years later. Thank you. Thanks, everybody who joined us today.
You getting ready for the Pittsburgh infomercial tonight?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm surprised that they said it was so dirty. It's always clean when we went there. Mary Kay, thanks to her. Thanks to Joe Varden for the political talk as well.
That was nice.
We're back tomorrow 6 to 10 for Big Country, for Jeff, for John, for the Slippery Wizard Anthony Lima. I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful night, my friends. Go Cavs. Go Browns. Go Andrew Berry, the offensive line snob.
Here we go.